Welcome to Scambaiting Emails. I'm certain this will be the longest scambaiting video I've published because in it I'm sharing 7 months of correspondence with a scammer. The scamming operation is quite unusual for several reasons, including 1, how long they wait before asking for money, and 2, its sophistication. They have put far more effort into creating their facade than any other I've encountered. It all begins with this email from David Patillo, Senior Consultant, regarding partnership inquiry. Good day. Trust this mail meets you well. I welcome you to Equine Limited Construction and Engineering. Equine Limited Construction and Engineering is interested in your services and partnership on a temporary contract basis. Do acknowledge this mail for a return mail that embodies the job description and compensation. Thank you. I think there must be some sort of mistake, so I reply with a request for clarification. Good day. Did you mistakenly send this to me by accident? I don't have any idea what this is about. In sincerity, Rob, or as my friends call me, Rob McKean. And thus begins a correspondence that continues for 7 months as David Patillo replies, I wish to welcome you again to Equine Limited Construction and Engineering. Kindly visit our official website below the signature for more information about our services. Before we continue, let's explore their official website. There is a company called Equine Limited. They're headquartered in China. This overture supposedly is coming from a Equine branch in Hong Kong, with a domain name that's similar but not the same as the real Equine headquarters. Unlike the website linked to in that message, this is the homepage of the real Equine site. It's frequently updated so that it always stays fresh, as opposed to being a static piece of clip art that looks the same today as it will next year. At this point, I'm obliged to explain that these are my interpretations of the various web pages and other related details. I'm pretty confident that I'm right, but because I'm not an expert, instead of telling you these are the facts, I've been advised to tell you these are my opinions and, theoretically at least, maybe I'm wrong. I'll share with you more of what makes me confident in my analysis, but I'm not an expert. Maybe I'm misinterpreting something, as ridiculously unlikely as that may seem. Now that I've satisfied our legal department, this is the website that was linked to in the scammer's email. As part of my due diligence, I looked elsewhere for additional clues to confirm my identifications of those 2 websites, the real one and the pretend one. I looked for their Facebook pages and found one for each. The page for the real Equine in China has 17,000 followers. The Facebook page for the fake Equine has 37 followers. But wait, there's more. I strolled over to whois.com to see if I could glean any additional incriminating information about that website. Domain information didn't contain any clues, but I was curious what info might be included under registrant contact. Let's see. The name of the person who registered this domain is Abiola Wasiu. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, but it definitely is a big clue. Abiola Wasiu isn't a Chinese name, it's Nigerian. You know, where a whole lot of scams like this originate. And his country is listed as NG, which is an abbreviation for Nigeria. And the country code for Abiola's phone number is 234. Care to guess which country has 234 as its country code? Once again, Nigeria. Now, there's more than one person named Abiola Wasiu, but there's only one Nigeria. I'm going to go out on a limb here and declare that I believe this domain is owned by someone not in Hong Kong or in China, but, surprise, in Nigeria. Picking up where we left off on the Welcome You Again email, the guy who's interested in hiring me explains, we require a representative, either an individual or a company, irrespective of their business type or expertise, in Europe, Canada, or the United States, who can help our cause establish our presence in territories and geographical locations where we are yet to launch our outfit. Our company is currently experiencing a rise in the number of businesses from its customers in the previously mentioned areas. We do not have a representative who could easily communicate with our customers when they need to initiate spontaneous correspondence, including emails, telephone, etc. Referencing the last paragraph, we are making arrangements to establish our presence in these new business areas. We require a representative, either an individual or a company, irrespective of their business type or expertise, to assist us in establishing our presence in the locations that we require, acting as an intermediary in carrying out advanced correspondences, receiving and disbursing payments from our customers' debtors on behalf of our company. Hence, we wish to contact you or your enterprise as our representative in your area based on agreed working terms, emolument packages, and percentages/bonuses. This is a part-time job that you can attend to after regular business hours, and you can earn extra income while doing your normal job/business. As compensation for this service, you will be entitled to a 10% commission of every completed transaction, that is, 10% of every payment received, processed, and remitted less your commission, plus a $5,800 monthly allowance to cover out-of-pocket expenses such as telephone bills, fax, etc. After carefully reviewing and studying your resume, further details will be related to you. Therefore, if you are interested in this position, kindly forward your resume for review or complete the short form in blue to conduct our due diligence. Full names, physical residential address, company name, phone number. Several days later, David sends me that entire email again, this time adding the friendly greeting, "Hi, McKean." This is something that happens a number of times during our correspondence. He sends me a long email, and then 1 or 2 days, or sometimes 1 or 2 minutes after sending the original, he sends it to me a second time. Once again, I respond with puzzlement. "Hey, David, I think you must have confused me with someone else. I don't have any experience at all in construction or in engineering. I'm just a rural equine veterinarian. I wish I could help you. Frankly, I don't really understand what your second huge paragraph is all about. I am sure it is important, but I have to admit I don't even know what emolument packages means. If you know someone who is looking for a holistic veterinarian, an animal physical therapist, or an ear cropping expert, please feel free to pass along my contact information. With today's world situation, unfortunately, business has dropped off quite a bit over the past 2 years, and it's become increasingly difficult to support my family and myself." Once again, his response begins with, "I wish to welcome you again to Equine Limited Construction and Engineering." As you'll see, he begins virtually all of his messages by welcoming me again to Equine Limited Construction and Engineering. Trust this finds you well. While I will like to say a big thanks to you for your transparency in the previous mail that you sent to us, I will react to 2 things from the same mail. First, I want to commend your transparency, and I will like to inform you that there are other arrangements that would allow you work with us. We have different departments, and we could definitely use your people management and accountability skill that could also be supervisory roles. In line with this thought, I would like you to consider that we would like to onboard you as our payments management officer for your region. Our company would be registered as a subsidiary to your own line of work. That way, it's not a total deviation from what you do. You will be saddled with enforcing payments and ensuring that all goes accordingly with other clients, businesses, and partners that we have in your geographical area. The second thing I'd like to also emphasize upon is the skill needed for this role. Inasmuch as I wouldn't take this opening from the engineering purview, I'd like to strictly say that this role offered is more like a support role, and this is needed by all businesses in existence. Please review our proposition above and request an explainer into the role if you are interested. Anticipating your response. "Hey, David, what you are talking about certainly sounds interesting, but frankly, in all honesty, to tell the truth, I must candidly admit that my experience as a holistic veterinarian would not seem to qualify me for the type of job you are describing. I mean, the job sounds good depending upon what it pays, but I don't have any idea how to enforce payments from someone. While I have a lot of experience working with animals, especially equines, I wouldn't know how to enforce someone to pay money they owe. One reason I've always worked with animals is my people skills, so I've been told many times over the years, are not well developed. If a client, business, or partner refused to pay however much they owe us, I would find that very upsetting as well as frustrating. If you have a well-paying opening for an executive with my experience working with sick animals, I might be interested in further exploring this opportunity. I am not familiar with Equine Limited Construction and Engineering, but I assume you don't have a division that works solely with animals, do you? By the way, it's a funny coincidence that you said you will be saddled with enforcing payments because, as I say, all of my experience is in the horse health industry, and saddles certainly is something I know a lot about. But I know you didn't mean the saddles that people sit upon when riding horses. Still, you have to admit it is a big coincidence. Oh, something else that I mentioned in my previous email. What are emolument packages? Hi, Rob. Welcome again. Thank you for your honesty and show of willingness to engage in productive activity. I'd like to direct my mail on the aspect of you being saddled to enforce payments. Kindly note that this activity, its peculiarities and so on, will be taught to you by your direct supervisor that you'll be working with. She will train, assist, monitor, and provide you with all manner of assistance. This means that we only require your commitment for this role, and you shall be able to learn new things relating to payments. Kindly signify if you are interested in being onboarded with the Payment and Bills Receivables team. Hey David, thank you for your informative and responsive response. You are being most patient and helpful, and I want you to know I appreciate that. It makes me think that yours might be an excellent company to work with. I don't want either of us to make a mistake, which is why I have to ask questions that to you probably seem elementary and even foolish. I hope you do not mind my asking questions that are so easy for you to answer, but not for me to answer. I don't really have any idea what the job itself entails. What would my work consist of? As I suspect you can tell, when it comes to the world of business, it's all a mystery train to me. I want to be certain that first of all, I could do a good job for you, and that second of all, I would enjoy the work, which I'm sure I would, probably, but I can't be sure without knowing how the job works. The one thing I really would not enjoy is a job that requires me to get up early in the morning. I am not a morning person, as the proverb says. In fact, that's one of the advantages of working with horses and some other animals. Horses usually don't start their days until noon or so, depending upon the time zone. Can I do this part-time, for example, 50% of my time, while being able to continue with my career in holistic veterinary medicine, HVM? I understand I would be trained, assisted, and monitored by a direct supervisor. Where would this training take place? I went to your website, and it seems that you're located in Hong Kong. Would I be coming to Hong Kong for the training? If so, approximately how long is the length of time that the training would take? Finally, but not last, how much does the job pay? Don't get me wrong, money is not the most important thing to me, but it's important enough for me to want to know how much the job pays. Thank you again for your patience in providing the necessary information that is necessary for me to understand what this is all about. P.S. Oh, the other thing I had asked you was, what are emolument packages? I don't know what that is or how they work. Would I be taught how to use them as part of my training? Hi, Rob. I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your interest. I am pretty sure this opening will be best suited for you. This job is not the usual 9 to 5. You do not have to work in the morning. Matter of fact, you work when you decide to. You only get directives of tasks to be achieved for the day by your supervisor, and thereafter you can decide when to get those tasks done. Averagely, these tasks shouldn't take you up to an hour to accomplish, so you can continue with your career as you work with us. Again, you will not be required to travel. You will work from the comfort of your home. Your supervisor will connect you with customers living in your environment, and you will get to work hand in hand with those customers only. In terms of payment, which also means emolument, you will be paid $5,800 after the accomplishment of your first task. I'd like to also let you know that your supervisor is a very patient and skillful teacher with a lot of experience on the job. All of his attributes will work in your favor. This is for a fact. Now that all these have been laid to rest, I am excited and eager to see you progress at your tasks with WeCon Limited. I will wait on your response, Rob. I guess at times David simply is overcome with impatience, because 3 minutes later I receive a duplicate copy of that email. I thoughtfully reply a mere 13 hours later. Hey David, I really appreciate your patience in explaining this venture to me. Prior to now, I've never heard of an emolument. You can be certain that for the next few weeks I'll be working that word into some everyday conversations with everyday people just to see the puzzled looks on certain people's faces. I have to admit that any job whose description says you do not have to work in the morning sounds like the perfect job for me. Before we formally begin, I believe there's a couple of questions you haven't answered yet. Probably that's because the answers are so obvious that you can't believe I don't already know them. Question number 1 from my earlier email to you. Now I understand that I wouldn't have to travel to Hong Kong for my training. How will I receive the training that I'll need to do the kind of job we'll both be proud of? Via Zoom or Skype? Is there some sort of written training manual for me to consult? Question number 2. The one thing we haven't discussed is what the average task consists of, what it is I'll be doing. What is it I'll be doing when I do a task? Again, I know the answer is obvious to you, but most likely that's because you already know, while I don't yet. Because I am not perfect, it is only fair to apprise you of my personal limitations. The first is that I am kind of afraid of heights. I doubt the new job requires me to not be afraid of heights, but as the French say, it is better to confront your fears than to let them confront you. The second personal limitation is my allergy to hamsters. That's the only animal in the world I am unable to work with in my HVM job. I refer all hamster inquiries to Mark Welby, who is fortunate not to be allergic to them. You mentioned that my supervisor is a very patient and skillful teacher. What is his name? Is he in Hong Kong too? $5,800 is a handsome sum of money. How often do you expect me to be assigned such a task? This sounds more and more like a wonderful opportunity. I'm looking forward to being a productive member of your team. Hi, Rob. I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your show of interest, intelligence, and transparency. My answers to your questions are as thus. 1. Training means and mode. Your training will be done online, where portions of the company's manual and instruction will be given to you. It is worthy to note that you will be learning on the job, as the supervisor will introduce you to new tasks and will give a step-by-step guide to how you are going to accomplish those tasks. It is all that easy. Remember, he is patient and skilled. You will enjoy him. In terms of average tasks, please note that your task will be progressive as you become acquainted with the peculiarities of the job. At these early stages, you will be reaching out to clients in your area in general to ensure that you serve as a pipeline where their needs are communicated to the operations department where their request will be solved. Hence, I'll say that you will be more or less the correspondence staff and payments advisor to customers. This describes your tasks in the early stages of the job. Also, your job does not incorporate heights, neither does it have to do with hamsters. Furthermore, your supervisor is a dual citizen of the US and Hong Kong. He travels quite frequently, and this is why he needs an employee to groom for business continuity whenever he is not in town. In terms of the frequency of your task, that will be decided by your supervisor. This is because as you hold conversations and training with him, he will be able to understand your strengths and subsequently assign tasks in accordance to your capabilities. I am positive you will do just great, and you will adore the frequency of the job. In conclusion, I look forward to having your sincerity on the team amongst other inherent traits that you have. You will be a great addition, no doubt. I will like to have your go-ahead on to the next phase of this opportunity for you. Thank you for your reasoned discourse again, Rob. Hey, David, thank you so much for answering my questions so informatively. I have never experienced online training before, although I have watched a couple of webinars that were held at Zoom. I guess the biggest advantage is that I can take the training during the part of the day when I am most available, probably in the late afternoon before the library closes. At my house, we have only dial-up, which would not be as fast and efficient as the library's computer. I am reassured to hear that the supervisor who will be training me is patient and skilled. I had been feeling kind of nervous about being the new kid in town at your company, but after your explanation, my nervousness is already gone and replaced by a peaceful, easy feeling that is much more relaxing to have. What is my supervisor's name? I should make a note of that for when I talk to him. When do I begin my training? Thank you so much for taking a chance on me. I won't let you down. Hi, Rob. I wish to welcome you again. You can count on your supervisor, David Patillo. He will definitely help with your time management as you work from the library during the library hours. Your instructions are largely in text format, as you will be needing to make reference to it whenever necessary. You do not have to worry about a thing. The next line of action is sending for you to send the details below for memorandum of understanding, in order to seal of contract between you and our company. You will also get a clearer view of the job in view. Full names, physical residential address, company name, phone number. I will be on standby to receive the full details above. The following day, I receive yet another copy of that email. I begin to reply, but then realize I was just about to reply with the information you need when I noticed something that confuses me. In your latest message, you assure me that you can count on your supervisor, David Batillo. He will definitely help you. But David Batillo is you, right? I mean, that message came from your email address and was signed Warm Regards, David Batillo. But it seems to have been written by some third unknown person who is someone other than you, but whose identity I don't know. The only explanation I can think of is that someone, a hacker, has hacked their way into your email and is impersonating you. Probably you should have your IT department examine your account and see if indeed it has been compromised by outsiders who should not have access to Econ Limited's emails. At least that's the only thing I can think of to help you get to the bottom of this mystery. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help catch whoever has done this. I want to begin my training and then begin working as soon as possible on my first assignment, but not if there are hackers involved. If there is something I can do to help identify the hackers, please tell me and I will get right to work on it immediately. Hi Rob, welcome again. Trust you are having a great start to your day. I am actually impressed and happy to see that you are all alert and geared up for the role. Your attention to detail is excellent and commendable. I intend to declare to you that there was never any error in my last mail to you. It might interest you that after our conversation about your skill, time, and resources, the management decided to have you partner with me. This is because we have a surging number of people to hold conversation and guide over several issues, educating new clients on how to make orders, assisting with payments, and general update on project reports. These tasks and more are not time-bound and fits in smoothly with your lifestyle. Fun fact, I am also not a morning person. So you are with me, and I am so loving your detailing. Please note that why I had to mention my name explicitly is because our correspondence serves as an official record and trivial chatting and pronouns are to be avoided so that the subjects of every discussion is known. Thank you once again for showing your willingness to be with Econ Limited. I am happy to welcome you aboard. Please go ahead to fill the information below, and I will be more than glad to indulge you further with the next steps. Full names, physical residential address, company name, phone number. I will be on standby to receive the full details above. Welcome aboard. Hey, David. Oh, I guess I understand you need to create a clear and permanent paper trail. Is that it? I am heartened to learn that you, too, are not a morning person. This might sound a little bit harsh, but in my experience, people who actually enjoy getting up early in the morning turn out to be local criminals. I don't know why that would be. Most local criminals work at night, and you'd think they'd want to sleep very late the next day. At least, that's how I see it. Almost always, when I wake up in the morning, I feel really terrible and find myself thinking really terrible thoughts. I don't know for sure what makes it that way, but a while ago I asked my doctor about it, and he said something about my sleep cycle. I don't know how riding one is supposed to make me feel cheerfuler in the morning, but one of these days, I suppose I should look into that. Anyway, thank you for clearing up the confusion regarding the actual identity of my supervisor, who will be you. Now we've fixed that, what is our next step? Hi Rob, welcome again. Please go ahead to fill the information below, and I will be more than glad to indulge you further with the next steps. Those next steps look kind of familiar. Full names, physical residential address, company name, phone number. I will be on standby to receive the full details above. Welcome aboard. Hey David, here's the information you wanted. I trust you will keep it 100% confidential. Full names, Rob McKean. Physical residential address, and I give an address there. Company name, just me, I don't have a company name. Phone number, and I give a phone number. Sorry it took me so long to reply. One of the annoying aspects of being an HVM practitioner is that family members expect me to tend to their equines without charge and without advance notice. This time it was my brother-in-law, who technically is part of my family, I guess, Wilbur, who insisted there was something wrong with Ed, which is what he actually named his horse. Ed, which I think is frankly a stupid name for an equine, appears to have caught Munchausen syndrome, which sounds serious, but actually is much less deadly than COVID, thank goodness. Sorry about going off on a tangent like that. Although I think my work is highly interesting, I realize that not everyone else in the world thinks so too. Now that you have all my information, when do I start my training? It is Saturday here as I write this. Maybe we could begin as early as Monday afternoon? Dear Rob, thank you for being so interested and investing time in Econ Limited Construction and Engineering. We are elated to inform you that we have gone through your history of experience and expertise, and our proposition aligns with your acumen and dexterity. The attached shows the total extensive summary of our offer, duties, and other cohorts therein. Below is also a brief explainer about our company. Econ Limited Construction and Engineering is primarily a renovation, interior fitting, alternation, and building expansion expert. We can perform all the afore for commercial, financial, and banking outfits, educational institutions, and recreation centers. However, we are on a quest to establish our international presence by expanding our services to target the building of structures for small to medium scale outlets in the diaspora, UK, USA, and the rest of Europe. Our clientele base is just in its few numbers, but our projected expansion prompts our move to having experienced consultants to handle our customers and their dealings, hence the contact with you. Thank you for your reasoned discourse. I'll like to have you go through the attached, and I will be on standby for clarifications and guidance on subsequent proceedings. Thank you once again for your time. I hope to hear from you soon. And here it is, the attached document he referred to. Hey David, I finally have been near my computer long enough to review the PDF details you sent me. It all looks great, with a couple of clarifying questions I should ask you. The document you sent identifies itself as being three different things, only one of which can be accurate: Memorandum of Understanding, Contract, Agreement. Undoubtedly, businesses do things differently in Hong Kong than they do here. While I'm sure the answer is extremely obvious to you, before we reach the point of no return, I should find out from you which of these three things it actually is. As the new kid in town, I have not yet learned the appropriate Hong Kong business vocabulary. Please don't worry, I am a very fast learner once something has been taught to me. But even a very fast learner like me, someone who I am sure is capable of successfully navigating this new life in the fast lane, is likely to stumble at times when grappling with another culture's jargon. So that's my first clarifying question. On page 2 it says, the first six months of the term period is the lock-in period. What is a lock-in period? That definitely is a term I never have encountered during my entire HVM career. Page 5 mentions that both parties, by which they mean your company and me, have access to legal representation of its choice and opportunity to determine the language used herein. That's a really good idea, and I appreciate the suggestion that I have an attorney look this over for me. An attorney would undoubtedly know much more about the law than I do, and is more likely to identify a word or other verbiage that maybe should be clarified. There are two people I could ask to review the contract agreement memorandum for me. Although both are Americans, neither lives in the States at the moment. One is my cousin, attorney barrister Ollie W. Holmes, who has lived in Hull, England for a long time now and is considered to be an expert in European contract law. The other is, believe it or not, another relative of mine, my cousin Vinny, who is studying law at Nirma University in Ahmedabad, India. At the moment, he's just a law student and not a real lawyer barrister, but because India is in Asia and Hong Kong is in Asia, I'm wondering if he might be aware of some intricacies of Asian contract law that not even my cousin Ollie is aware of. If you don't mind my asking, which one do you recommend I contact based upon their backgrounds? Once I know which one you think I should use, I can email that PDF file to the one you think I should use and ask him to run it through the grinder for me and point out any language that might lead to confusion later if we don't correct it now. Do you have a knowledgeable opinion about which of those two people is more likely to be aware of all the intricate ins and outs of American-Asian Contract Agreement Memorandum? Thanks so much for your help. I am eager to get started on our new venture, and it sounds as though having my own legal advisor, actually just a relative, look it over is the last step before we finally can get started. Very much looking forward to working with you. Hi, Rob. Welcome again. Thank you for your response. I will quickly go through the touch points. Lock-in period is the minimum period you must work before you can ever decide to stop working. This is because it takes time for us to be able to recruit someone else to fill the position that you would be handling. So whenever you feel like disengaging, all you have to do if you haven't style long enough past the lock-in period, you will notify your supervisor, then he starts looking for another employee that would take the slot. Afterwards, you can leave after the lock-in period. I'd like to give you my best advice on the review of the Memorandum of Understanding. My best advice would be for you to highlight all the blurry points to us, and we shall answer it all in one mail, breaking it down to the simplest basics for us. This is because the required time to have you on the job has elapsed, and we are literally behind schedule. Also, I believe you might require a considerable amount of time if you are to review the documents with your sibling or acquaintance. I would implore that you circle out the parts that are confusing, and I will provide further clarity. This is in a bid to not have you lose this opportunity. Time is of the essence. Sending you my best wishes, and I look forward to get your response on my suggestions. Warm regards. Hey David, thank you so much for answering 2 of my 3 nagging questions. Now I understand what lock-in means in the context of our professional relationship. The only lock-in I'm familiar with is from my equine work, when a horse is acting all snippety and he gets put in his stall, facing the wall, as a behavior modification technique. Obviously, that's not what you're referring to. I do think I need to have a lawyer or law student look over the Memorandum of Understanding, because inside the memorandum itself, it says to do that. Based upon your experience, do you recommend that I show it to someone who is very well versed in European laws, or would a law student living in India be better because he's more likely to know the entrances and exits of Asian laws? I know you are very busy, and I thank you in advance for your advice re that question that I just now asked above. P.S. Are you experiencing this incredible heat wave in Hong Kong, too? Over here, at the moment, summer in the city is incredibly hot and heavy. Hi, Rob. I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your resilience and your quest for due diligence. I would admonish you to proceed with a close relation who is likely to be acquainted with Asian laws. I would also like to clarify my previous mail, as I did not imply that you do not need the service of a legal practitioner. I only advised you that you can proceed with your onboarding so that we do not lose ample time to get you working with Econ. Now that this is clarified, I'm excited, and I would be on standby to receive the signed copies of the Memorandum of Understanding from you at your earliest convenience. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Warm regards. Probably this is a good time for me to point out that we've been corresponding for more than a month, and so far there's been no mention of my needing to pay some sort of fee or other expense. But ordinarily, I'd think that has to occur pretty soon. Meanwhile, David is awaiting my latest response. Hey David, thanks very much for your helpful reply. I don't want to delay the start of my new employment any more than is necessary. So when I email my cousin Vinny right after I send this to you, I'll tell him to be brief and concise in his answer and not to include any of his highly verbose, word-filled stories about Jack and Diane or Father Mackenzie, who's actually my uncle, but everybody calls him that, Auntie Griselda, or Jessie's girl. I can't remember her name at the moment, but she's still a baby, and Jessie won't shut up about her. If you have a family too, no doubt you too can relate to some relatives who do nothing but talk. Speaking of talking, I should stop now and send that email to Vinny. I will report back to you as soon as I receive his reply, which I will make sure is very soon, and then we should be all ready to move forward. I'm really looking forward to the challenges and rewards of the new job. Hi Rob, welcome again. This is to acknowledge the receipt of your mail. The details therein is well understood. I will be on standby to receive your response and ready to advance MOU towards the next steps as required. Do have a great weekend. Warm regards. Hey David, thank you for your patience. My cousin Vinny gave me some good advice about tax strategies I might want to employ. Aside from that, he's quite happy for my having encountered what he says is a wonderful opportunity for me. Because one of these days he's going to finish school and officially be a lawyer, He has a subtle yet annoying tendency to look down his nose at my own employment history. I've tried to explain to him that my own personal philosophy, which is always on my mind, is a person should follow that dream wherever that dream may lead him or her or them. I've noticed that people who undergo legal training to become barristers or lawyers or attorneys or whatever always tend to end up with suspicious minds, which I suppose in some circumstances might be good, but as I have tried to explain to him, because he is younger than I am, it seems to me we can't build our dreams on suspicious minds. So, what is our next step to make forward progress? Hi, Rob. I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your response and your interest in this wonderful opportunity. I perfectly understand your vision for this pact between you and Econ Limited. The endeavor is indeed very rewarding, and a lot would also be learnt, and I am sure you would like to agree with me. The next steps required for the flag-off is the signing of the MOU. Please go ahead and execute the signing of the MOU. Other subsequent steps would be advised further. Welcome aboard, Rob McLean. Anticipating your timely response. Hey David, thank you for kindly waiting while I read over our agreement to make sure I understand all of it. Of course, you must be 100% completely understanding of all that legal talk and mumbo-gumbo, but as my grandmother always told me, if you rush into things, you might not be able to rush out. My grandfather said much the same thing to me and my siblings as we grew from children to big people. I can hear his voice even now as he disquisited in that unique voice of his, sounding just like other grandfathers. Even if some new idea feels gentle on your mind, curb your enthusiasm enough so that you can evaluate the offer with patience and prudence. I must admit he's funny that way, but to be fair, I also have to admit that sometimes even older generations have a lot of experience from which to offer advice. You've explained to me what a lock-in period is. But I asked my uncle, Ollie W. Holmes, a well-known attorney barrister who lives in Hull, England, to take a gander at the agreement too, because I don't know anything about legal things. I mean, aside from the occasional misunderstanding with some of our local police officials who think they're so tough just because they wear uniforms and say 10-4 with alarming frequency. Ollie pointed out that one small element on page 2 with the title of Term of Agreement indicates that after the lock-in period, if both of us, you and I, agree to continue the employment agreement, I will be bound to that agreement for the next 5 years. I am certain I will want to be inside that agreement for 5 years, but I'm not sure. After all, as I explained to Ollie, with this opportunity, I think I'm into something good, but that's what I thought when I became an Amway distributor, and I still have a garage full of products that none of my friends or neighbors wants to buy. Ollie explained that after the lock-in period ends, I wouldn't be able to quit the job unilaterally, that we would need duolateral agreement from both of us. And if you happen to leave Econ Limited Construction and Engineering for some other great job, whoever succeeds you as your successor might not be as agreeable to work with as you are, but still would need to agree to any duolateral agreement if after, say, 3 years I wanted to retire and rest on my laurels. Important point. I don't expect to retire after 3 years, but because this involves a serious 6-page agreement that legally binds us, I thought it would be better to ask you about that now rather than some other later time. I am certain this is very simple and easy peasy, as my Uncle Ollie says they say in England, to you, even though I find it so confuddling. But at least I know a lot about my own HVM specialty and treating equines, which most people don't know anything about. Is there some way you can insert something in the appropriate place that fixes that concern? P.S. I can't wait to get started. Because David has been oddly quiet for a week now, I figure maybe I should give him a little nudge. Hey David, it's been a week since I last emailed you. Did you receive it? Today is a holiday where I live, but I was hoping that tomorrow I could begin working for Econ Limited Construction and Engineering. In that previous email that I sent you earlier, I had asked how we should handle the question of what happens if you leave the company during that 5-year period and maybe I don't have such a great relationship with whoever your replacement is who follows you. Not that I think that will happen, but in my experience, it's always a good idea to plan for the unexpected, just in case something unexpected surprises you unexpectedly. Please elucide me about what is happening. I really was hoping to officially start working with you tomorrow. Hi Rob, I wish to welcome you again. I have been working with the contracts and partnership team to review the terms of your contract, making it clear and well stated for easy adoption. In the light of this, I am pleased to announce that your terms of contract has been reviewed to a year renewable contract. Please find the new Memorandum of Understanding for your perusal. Kindly execute the signing of the documents and return the signed copy to me as soon as can. I must thank you for your patience and thoroughness. I will be anticipating your response. And here's the revised contract. Hey, David, I have attached my signed copy of our Memorandum of Understanding. Thank you for adding that clarification to the agreement's verbiage. I promise that once I have finished my training, I will take it to the limit to do my best for you. Lieber and Stoller Limited, whom I believe I once mentioned to you, will soon be kicking themselves, not in a good way, for allowing my employment with them to terminate, and cruelly yelling, "Get a job!" in a really nasty way as I drove away on that final day. Where do I go to begin my online training for the job? Exciting! Hi, Rob. I wish to welcome you again. Trust you are having a fine day. This is to acknowledge the receipt of your signed MOU. We are pleased to let you know that your file and company detail has been integrated into our clientele base system. You would be able to access the company's contacts and commence the discharge of your duties momentarily. The following are required for the final phase of your documentation. Please fill accordingly. Note, it is required that you fill the following information to help fix clients according to your jurisdiction so we can commence work immediately. Social Security number, tax ID, driver's license picture, front and back. We are also pleased to announce that you have been assigned a supervisor who is currently engaging a client virtually for a proposed contract in your region. Kindly note that you will immediately be allowed to the clientele information so that you can be a direct contact to the client in your region going forward. To this end, we require that you populate the information below to enable us notify the customer of your proximity to him and to avail him your banking details as soon as his project materializes for us to enforcement payment. Please see the details required to be filled below. Bank name, bank address, physical mailing address, name on account, account number, routine number, SWIFT code, your direct phone number. Please fill this space using your WhatsApp number. Please note that your supervisor will engage you through the social media app WhatsApp after you must have completed all the fields below. All other information about the briefly explained project above would be made known to you. On-the-job training and development is also expected to hold on the social media app. Do accept my warm welcome to the family, dear Equine human. 2 days later, he sends me a duplicate of that email. And 2 days later, I reply, "Hey David, I have done my best to fill in all the necessary information that is necessary for me to begin my new job. There are some things I was unable to answer for these reasons. I do not have a driver's license due to my having suffered from TES my entire life, as I believe I mentioned to you in a previous email from earlier. That is one reason I am self-employed. I work from home, my stables are right outside my back door, and my clients, the humans and their horses, I always think of the horses themselves as my clients, come to me for any necessary HVM treatments. I do, however, have an expired ID that I still keep in my wallet from several years ago when I studied rhyming for 2 semesters at Polk Community College. The ID has my photo and everything. Will that suffice to be sufficient for our purposes? I don't understand about my bank's address and its physical mailing address. Aren't they the same thing? I don't know what a routine number is. That is a term I never before have heard in relation to my bank account. I do have an account number, which I am including below. I believe SWIFT code must be something you use in Hong Kong, but we don't have those here, just our account number, name, and things like that. I also am not aware of anything called a WhatsApp number, which is why I don't have one, but I do have a direct phone number, which I am including with my information below. Except for those things that I don't have, here is all the information you requested. Bank name, Citizens Bank and Trust, bank address, and there's a street address, and that's a real bank and their real address. Physical mailing address, I don't know what to put there. Name on account, Rob McKean. Account number, 125950305. Routine number, I don't know what to put there. SWIFT code, not applicable, we don't use those. Your direct phone number, and I give a phone number. I do not have a WhatsApp number, sorry. We are entering into what promises to be another very overly hot weekend. The animals require considerably more attention than usual because as an HVM practitioner, one of my responsibilities is to constantly keep them well hydrated with fresh cold water. The only reason I mention it here is I'll be spending more time than usual getting fresh water from the well and constantly refilling the troughs with some of that fresh water. Nonetheless, I shall make it a point to check my emails several times per day this weekend. Should I be looking for an email from you, or will it be from my supervisor who will teach me what to do? Approximately when should I expect to hear from him or her? What is his or her name? I guess, as you can tell, I am really eager to begin this exciting new chapter in both of our lives, if not more so. Thank you for all of your help and your patience in helping to make this dream come true. Ever since I was a young boy in school, my teachers often chastised me for being a daydreamer. That didn't insult me at all. Even at that tender age, I was happy to be a daydream believer because even then, I knew if you didn't have a dream, then there was no way it could come true. Hi, Rob. Welcome again. Thank you for your mail. I hope you are having a great day. Please permit me to go straight into answering the points from your last email. Kindly share the old ID card. That would suffice for our documentation. Also, your mailing address is your own residential address. Kindly share that information with me. For the routing number, I believe it's part of your banking details. It would interest you that you can get the number on your banking application or through a request from the customer care center of your bank. I would also like you to know that WhatsApp is an online chatting application. This can be found on your smartphone application store. Then you can register your direct number on the social network app to gain easy and real-time accessibility to instructions from me. Once we get the above sorted, I would be providing you with all the details of what would make the supposed dream a reality. Thank you for the information so far. I hope we take it further fruitfully in the coming days. Hey David, thank you for explaining the parts that I wasn't understanding correctly. I have attached a copy of my expired ID card. Even though it expired quite a few years ago, I just left it in my wallet for all that time and it kind of stuck to the back of my old Taco Bell frequent diner card, which doesn't list an expiration date, but which I'm pretty sure no longer is any good either. You might notice that as a result, the printing is kind of faded, but I think you can read the details to any degree that is necessary. Are you saying that physical mailing address refers to my address? I thought they were talking about the bank. My address is, and I give an address, bank routing number. I called my bank, and it turns out that the account number I gave you is for the wrong account from years ago. I have everything written down in a little notebook that I keep in my shirt pocket, so I don't have to worry about forgetting anything. I guess I forgot to cross out that old account number due to absent-mindedness. Anyway, the account number is 349-38658, and the routing number is 350-221-364. WhatsApp. The only time I use the online internet is to send or receive email. I don't know how an online chatting application works, and I don't have time for chatting anyway. I'm not sure if chatting is another word for texting, but I don't text or chat. But please give my telephone number to the person who will be my supervisor, as well as my email address. That way, he or she can communicate with me easily. I am greatly looking forward to receiving all the details of what would make our supposed dream a real reality. Hi, Rob. I wish to welcome you again. Trust this meets you well. This mail is intended to address the communication aspects of the ongoing contract with Equine Limited. I would like to reiterate how important communication is to the execution of your duties. We advised the use of the social media app WhatsApp to facilitate easy communication between you and your supervisor or other parties. Your feedback in this regard was well received, but I would advise that you have a reevaluation of this in order to make your job seamless and a lot more tailored to your everyday schedule. I would also love to mention that I have been trying to reach you via calls, all to no avail. I would love to discuss how we can make arrangements to ensure proper communication flow between you and I as we commence the partnership works. Do respond to this mail as soon as possible. Hey David, you've been trying to reach me via calls, all to no avail? Although I spend most of my day, and sometimes a good chunk of my evening when there is an unexpected emergency patient outside, when people call me during those times, I have a recorded message that automatically records and saves any messages people leave for me. All of the messages are recorded on my computer, along with the phone number they called from and the time that they called. I think I receive fewer calls than many people do because of my work and my personality, so it's easy to check to see if I missed a call. Do you remember what time it was during those times when you tried to call me, and also from what number you called? The only calls that were sent to the recording were on Friday of last week at 10:59 a.m. from a number I don't know who it belongs to, from a 307 area code, which means it came from Wyoming, USA. And before that, on Tuesday last week, there was a call from a number with a 602 area code, which means Arizona, USA. I don't know what the area code is for Hong Kong, but those are the only two calls from numbers I don't know who they belong to. What days and times did you try to call me? Did you leave a message at the sound of the beep like the recording says to do? What did the recording say when you reached it? This is very upsetting, because if my supervisor needs to talk to me for a new assignment but is unable to leave a message for me, I don't know how I can know what the new assignment is. Unless he or she wants to tell me the assignment in an email, but I believe that earlier you said they prefer to do it in a telephone call. I wonder if our time zones are so different that it presents an obstacle to communicating by phone. Right now it's around 3:30 a.m. where I am. When you work with equines, your workday begins pretty doggone early. My first appointment isn't until 5 a.m., but these days it takes me a good amount of time to wake up, bathe, drink a cold keto drink, and other similar things that are part of everyone's morning routine. For the purpose of comparison, what time is it right now in Hong Kong, where you are? I remember that you said you wanted me to use an app called WhatsApp, but I don't use apps or social media in any form. A couple of different times, my granddaughter tried to convince me to get one of those phones that you carry around in your pocket and that also lets me go surfing, which is not very practical for me because I am a few hours away from the ocean and my phone is on my desk. I also have an extension phone in the kitchen. So it seems our two options are for my supervisor to leave a message if he or she calls when I'm busy working with my other job, or if for some reason that is not practical, to send me each new assignment via emails, as I mentioned above. Before I can do an assignment, I have to go through Weekon Limited Construction and Engineering's training sessions. Although in a previous email that I sent to you earlier, I mentioned that I almost never use the online internet, if you can send me the directions of where to find the training, I'm sure I'll be able to find it. Or I can ask my granddaughter for help. Or if you think I can do the job without taking the trainings, maybe we can just jump into my first assignment and I'll quickly learn what I need to know on the job, as police officers say. Please let me know what we can do next to hurry things along. I'm sure it's nobody's fault, but I had expected to already be handling our first customers by now. Hi Rob, I wish to welcome you again. I have gone through your submission on you use PF mobile gadgets and how you routine works. However, I believe we need to hold a proper conversation on how to have timely exchange of information. The world is a fast-paced place, and we have to be able to reinvent the wheel. I would love if you could contact me on this number, and they give a phone number. I shuffle Hong Kong and the U.S. due to my work schedule, and at this moment I am in the U.S. and would be grateful if you could call as soon as you receive this email. I would love you to jumpstart to the tasks. However, it is worthy to note that I would want you to consider having a pocket phone that allows you access the app for your assignments. It would help you manage your personal business times and help you monitor your progress better. Trust me to explain in a more detailed manner whenever you call me. Anticipating your call. 7 hours later, he sends me an identical copy of that message. And I reply, "Hey David, my sincere apologies for taking so long to reply to your most recent message. I don't know if you're experiencing the same terrible heat wave where you are that we've been having here. This is the hottest summer we've ever had, and I've been working 12 to 16 hours per day treating horses suffering from idiopathic equine hyperthermia, which is something that almost never occurs until all of a sudden this past week it's been like an epidemic. It's a quite dangerous condition for a horse, and slowly lowering the animal's internal temperature is a painstaking and time-consuming task. Most of the time, if I administer electrolyte solutions orally, the horse will recover within a few days. Perhaps 20% of the time this week, however, I had to inject the solution with a needle. As you can guess, horses don't like that at all. Meanwhile, even as I write these words, I am struggling to keep my eyes open and haven't been able even to open my daily mail, which mostly is bills and advertisements, but you never know until you open them. I did just now check to see if I missed any telephone calls from numbers I don't know. On Wednesday, someone from an 828 area code, which I believe means it came from North Carolina, called at around 11 a.m. and left a 30-second voicemail that didn't contain any sounds or talking. On Friday, someone else left a similar 30-second blank message from the 307 area code. 307 equals Wyoming, although I've never known anyone who lives there. I know you travel around a lot. Were you in either North Carolina or Wyoming during the past week? Earlier, I mentioned your most recent message. Actually, I received 2 email messages from you on Saturday, but they both were identical to each other. Are you still in the U.S.? The phone number you told me to call you at has a 626 area code, which I believe means you're somewhere in Southern California, unless you've already gone back to Hong Kong. From hearing the news reports, it sounds as though it might be hotter where you are than it is even here. I hope you're using sunscreen and hydrating adequately. If you still are at that 626 number, during what hours can you be reached there? If I know what times are good for you, I can try to call you during one of those times. Pocket phone. I understand how convenient it would be to carry a pocket phone, but that would not be possible. I don't want to burden you with my personal challenges. I think everyone has some, except maybe super successful famous movie stars. But one reason I work from my home, outside, of course, is this thing I have called EHS, Electromagnetic Hypersensitivity Syndrome. Probably you're already familiar with it. A few years ago, it made headlines when Charles McGill revealed that he has suffered from EHS his entire life. I think what shocked people the most is that he can never use a mobile phone, which of course is true for anyone who has EHS. Fortunately, I can use a landline, which I keep inside the house. I don't wish to generate difficulties for you. I promise that none of these things will interfere with my 100% commitment to the tasks I'll be performing for Econ Limited Construction and Engineering. Please don't worry about that. I am very responsible, and whenever possible, I always keep my commitments. Is it possible for me to take my first training session online somewhere, so no matter how late my other job goes, I'll still be able to study the trainings before going to bed? Once again, David, I apologize for the big delay in my replying to your most recent email. Normally, I respond to important emails much more promptly, and this new job certainly will be a top priority for me. Please remember to let me know where you are in the world right now so that I can call you if you elucide me about the phone number to call and at what times you'll be able to talk. Hey David, what a week I have had. I have been treating equine patients nonstop with almost no sleep at all. I don't think the crisis is over because the very hot heat is supposed to last for weeks. But I just have to take a little break and rest for a while. When you're so exhausted and tired that it's hard to think straight, the last thing I'm actually referring to me, of course, should do is try to diagnose and treat dangerously ill animals, especially the big ones like horses. Did you receive the previous email I sent you earlier on July 22? I haven't gotten any response from you yet, and now more than ever, I would like to start working at my new job with Econ Limited Construction and Engineering as soon as possible. You had said something about trying to call me, and I said I checked all my recorded voicemail message recordings, and none of them was from you. 2 other recordings came from 307 and 626 telephone numbers, and I asked you if either of those area codes is where you were calling from. I also asked what's a good time for me to call you, depending upon where you are right now in the world. With this nonstop heat and having to get up very early in the morning to treat as many animals as I can, even though I've never been a morning person and hate getting up early, I am thinking more and more about retiring from HVM completely and devoting all my time during the workday to my new job in emoluments. I could begin my training on Monday and, from what you said earlier, be ready to actually receive my first assignment on Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably Wednesday would be better because I can use Tuesday to contact my patients, well, actually the human owners of my patients, who actually are animals, to tell them I'm retiring as far as they're concerned. I hope you are doing very well and that I'll hear from you very soon, today if possible. Dear Rob, trust you are having a great day. I would like to thank you sincerely for your patience and understanding. I have read your previous emails and I understand your constraints and commitment. Be that as it may, we need to understand that working for a corporate environment requires constant accessibility between employees under the employ of the employer. I have noted your concerns and constraints over the OATS few days. I have been in touch with the management to explain and make arrangements to accommodate your dynamics, and these were conclusions. 1. That all our correspondence would be over mail, training on the job based. 2. We have to choose an hour or two in a single day where we could get to exchange work-related mails. I would let you decide your time frame in your local time, and you can communicate that to me. As soon as you agree with the latest terms, we will start with the first task around your locality. We have a client's project over there already that needs tending. As soon as you acknowledge and state your availability for mails, I would kickstart our task-based learning and have you participate sufficiently. Once again, pardon my late responses. It is for the best, as you can perceive from the aforestated. Hey David, although I never thought I would be working in a corporate environment because I hate having to dress up for work, I certainly understand the need for constant accessibility between employees under the employ of the employer and the employer itself. Will I be meeting with any of our clients in person? If so, I'm sure you will want me to dress in a more professional manner than to which I am accustomed. But because I assume that would only be when meeting with clients in person, it's not like I'd have to be dressed up all day, every day. This week has been nonstop crazy like last week. I have told as many of my clients as possible that soon I won't be available to perform equine treatments, but with this heat, the arrival of new equine patients has continued like you wouldn't believe. You can be certain that the expression "rust never sleeps" was first said by an HVM before others began saying it too. Thank you for explaining things to management and making arrangements to accommodate our dynamics. 1. When you say all our correspondence would be over mail, am I correct in thinking that in this particular context, mail is short for email? I don't know what the postal service is like in Hong Kong, but here the mail takes longer and longer to be delivered, if at all. But I'm pretty sure you were referring to email and not to what my granddaughter refers to as snail mail. 2. Choosing an hour or two, I think probably 2 to make sure we both have enough time each day when we can exchange work-related emails, sounds like an excellent idea and very good problem solving. What time zone are you usually inside of? I'm on Eastern time. Once this equine heat crisis has passed, it should be much easier for us to pick a regular time that is convenient for you as well as for me. What would be an excellent 2-hour window for you yourself, given where you are? Just in case you need it in writing, I formally and unequivocally agree with the latest terms, and I acknowledge and state my availability for mails. I had hoped to begin my online internet training this week, but I guess it's too late for that. Can I begin the training on Monday? I am really looking forward to being part of your team. P.S. If it's possible to begin my training on Monday, that would be perfect. Hi Rob, welcome again. I am most elated to receive a reassurance of your commitment to this partnership. It warms the heart to know that you are dedicated to ensuring that we set sailing, and I say to you, welcome aboard. I've also read through your previous email, and I have summarized all my responses in bullet points. Thus, 1. When I said mail, I meant email. 2. You do not get to meet customers daily. What you will be doing a bit frequent is going to your banker to confirm transactions from customers and to also disperse funds to other teams in Ecquine that finalizes consumers' project. 3. You will be rightly informed whenever there is a need to meet a customer, and you will be choosing a time that is convenient for you. 4. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. in your local time is fine for our 2 hours free-flowing email exchanges. You can always send a mail stating that you are reporting for duty at 12 p.m., your local time every day, and I will have us engage further on the day's business. 5. I shuffle Hong Kong, the UK, and the US for now, so it is uncertain where your next mail would be reaching me. However, I am back to Hong Kong right now. However, wherever I may be, I am comfortable with our work time of 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., your local time. 6. On days when we will be having peak business, I would also be informing you so that you can prepare in earnest. 7. Please be informed of the ongoing transaction in your geographical area, as this would be the first learning phase for us. We would be learning on the job, so the first brief that you will be getting would be the background to the ongoing job, and you would also get advisory on how you come into the picture. Please feel free to react to any items above and ask further questions as you please. Thank you for your responses and continued commitment. Welcome aboard. Warm regards. Hey David, thank you so much for your gracious welcome aboard. I'm really excited about being part of Econ Limited Construction and Engineering. I definitely can promise to attempt to try to do my best to be available between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. my local time. Although I've spread the word to my regular HVM clients about my new job, it still is crazy around here. This unprecedented heat wave hasn't become less hot at all, which means people keep showing up at my corral outdoors, all shook up, with their horses suffering from idiopathic equine hyperthermia. They don't know that's what it's called. They just say something like, "There's something wrong with my horse, and I think it has to do with this unprecedented heat wave." And then half the people make some sort of joke like, "What we need is some cold Kentucky rain." I do my best to calm them down by saying something like, "That's all right, don't worry, just calm down." Don't get me wrong, I understand why they are so upset about their sick horses, but I could take care of those equines a lot faster if only there was a little less conversation while I'm trying to diagnose and treat the animals. What is Hong Kong like? I've never been there. The closest I've been to Hong Kong is Manchester, England, when I went there to watch the IRC Championship match. But I don't think Manchester and Hong Kong are similar to each other, and they're not really close to each other. So if I had to make a guess, like on some TV quiz show, I would guess those two cities have little, if anything, in common. When should I expect to receive my first brief containing the background to the ongoing job? As I think I mentioned previously in an earlier email, I had hoped to begin my new job last week on Monday. It is too late for that, but tomorrow is another Monday, and I hope I'll be able to begin working on my first assignment then. Thank you for placing your confidence in me. I am proud to be part of your team. Hi, Rob. Welcome again. I would like to thank you again and welcome you on board, Econ Human. So as promised, I want you plugged into the ongoing project, and we learn from it on a case-by-case basis. So let's move on to the briefing learning points from this project. 1. This project is scheduled to hold in 2 locations, Charlottesville and Niagara Falls. This project is owned by a sole proprietor who is renovating its annexes, Matthew & Sons Limited. 2. Their first contact was with the last employee previously holding your current position. He negotiated price vis-a-vis the specifics of the project and came to a conclusion of $30,000 for the total renovation of each annex. Furthermore, it was agreed that these sums could be paid in tranches or as a lump sum. 3. The terms of this agreement has been agreed, and the first tranche of payment are expected in the coming weeks. 4. The customer was recently contacted, and this was in view of presenting your details to him as our new client relations expert. This is in order for you to be positioned to attend to his final set of questions before the project commences. 5. The customer is expected to reach out to you in the coming hours, and we shall discuss and learn how to navigate and respond to every inquiry from the customer, and ultimately the first tranche of payment would be made to you, the client's relations manager. Afterwards, we will also learn how you can disperse the payments received to the executing teams who would be on site to commence the project. The 5 action points and summary above would be the identical process that you would be taking for each and every customer you receive going forward. NB. While I was away, I was able to profile you on the company's platform, and you will be getting newsletters, customer mails, and beyond. Just let me know if you see anything that is strange. NB. I don't mean to boast, but I know many abbreviations, acronyms, symbols, and diminutives, but I've never heard of NB. Nota bene, a Latin phrase meaning note well. If you're already familiar with that phrase, please let me know by leaving a comment below. where you learned it, when you first learned it, and if you ever actually use it. Meanwhile, the email continues. Secondly, our contact time remains 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Florida time. Over here it is pretty much calm. We feel the climate change too. However, for most people like myself, we pray for the best part of the day and go about giving our best. Lastly, we abstain from extreme weather conditions when it is forecasted. Thank you for reading this lengthy piece. As usual, I will be here to receive your queries, questions, and beyond. Do have a bright day, Rob, our newest Wecon human. I guess that's to differentiate me from all the Wecon's androids and robots. Hey, David, thank you for the additional information. I am familiar with both of Matthew & Sons Limited's locations. Charlottesville, of course, is where Thomas Jefferson lives. While Niagara Falls is most famous as a destination for honeymooners, there actually are two Niagara Fallses, one on the American side and the other on the Canadian side. If I had to guess, I would guess Matthew & Sons Limited is located on the American side. Is that correct? I hope so, because doing business with companies in Canada is no easy picnic, believe me. Meanwhile, I'm getting concerned about how long it is taking for me to start working for Wecon Limited Construction and Engineering. I had wanted to begin 2 Mondays ago. I even prepared my indoor workspace by purchasing a Zero Breeze Mark II from eBay to keep the room I'll be using as an office nice and cool, if it works. Because I've been slowly letting my HVM practice get much smaller to make room for my new job, my cash flow situation has stopped flowing, and I've received 3 overdue notices from 3 different places. What is taking so long? I am beginning to become concerned about the lack of timeliness in starting this new business relationship. I don't mean that you are lacking timeliness, but there seems to be a bottleneck somewhere among your colleagues. Maybe it's just my imagination running away with me, but I'm starting to wonder if this job will actually begin, even though I'm sure it's not your fault. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your mail. This is to inform you that your work with Wecon is effective already, and I can confirm that your details is live on the Wecon Clients portal, and you will be getting contacted by clients in the coming hours. You will get inquiries and other forms of email that you and I will have to discuss, and through this we will be learning on the job. That would be the sequence. Thank you for making time and space for Wecon. I can assure you that this would be a rewarding endeavor. Please let me know as soon as you get any inquiry from clients. Warm regards. And now we hear from someone new, although they don't actually identify themselves. Dear Rob, Wecon respondent. We at Matthew & Sons Limited have received a directive that you are the new handler on our ongoing contract at Wecon. We would like to register our presence with you and do business with you on behalf of your team. Kindly refer to our ongoing contract code, Wecon number 332/864 Office 763/21 to verify our ongoing project with Wecon and other details. Please respond to this mail if we were in the right quarters, Rob. We will share an update on our preparations to finalize the contracts after we receive your response. Best, Admin, Matt & Sons. Dear Admin, Matt & Sons, yes, I am the new handler on your ongoing contract at Wecon. I have made note of your ongoing contract code. While I am happy to hear from Matt & Sons Limited, in your email you neglected to tell me your name. You told me your title, Admin, but if we are to work together for mutual success, then we must know who we are. In my previous career, I practiced HVM with a specialty in equines. Even then, every patient of mine had a name. A horse with no name just doesn't make sense, because we're all individuals, aren't we? So, who are you? I mean, your name, and how may I assist you? I figure I should let David know of this missing piece of information. Hey, David, I received an email today from somebody at Matthew & Sons Limited, but I don't know who the person is because he or she didn't tell me his or her name. The person signed the email admin, which I suspect is short for administration, but that's still not a person's name. He or she did include an ongoing contract code, Wecon number 322-864 Office 763/21, but that doesn't really do me any good if I don't know who the person is or what they want. Is there another Wecon client who is in need of my services and who will tell me his or her name? Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your mail. I am glad that you have started receiving inquiries from customers. This would be the trend from now on, but I need you to brace up. You will have bulk inquiries in the coming weeks. So please allow me to introduce Kimberly. She is the administrator and projects person for Matthew & Sons Limited. I am sure she would respond to your mail and introduce herself properly. However, I would like to explain the project code. 322/864 Office 763/21, in which you received from Kimberly. 1. The project code is normally generated by client relation managers, you, after agreement has been reached on the nature of projects that customers would like to have us deliver. Kindly note the last two numbers from Kimberly's mail, 21. Going forward, as you engage new customers, you would be assigning the project codes to them. Hence, the next customer gets 322/864 Office 763/22. Please note. 2. Now that you have the project code, your duty is to ask Kimberly to provide you with an invoice that was generated for her organization when the terms of the project has been reached. This is the second action that you will be taking after you assign project number. You will be required to invoice the agreed items using the costing grid agreement between us. Remember, we will be learning on a case-by-case basis, so I would be explaining the cost grid as soon as you have a customer who requires it. 3. The third action is to keep communicating with the client customer time they are ready to fund their project. Until then, their projects would be stalled. Customers, upon agreement of cost, would be paying into your banking details, while you await further instructions on disbursement from me. Right about this time, Kimberly would most like me seeking final clarification from you before they start funding their project. Please be on standby to receive her questions and share me as soon as you receive them so that we can discuss and issue a response. While we await Kimberly to introduce herself, I'll implore that you be on the lookout for other clients and respond to them promptly. Again, we would be learning training on a case-by-case study as the clients contract you. Thank you for your prompt notification. You are indeed a Wecon human. Do let me know if you have further concerns. A few hours later, once again, I hear from Matthew & Sons Limited. Hello, Rob. I absolutely appreciate your response. Please pardon my late response. I operate only on work days. I am Catherine, and I work as the admin and contracts officer for my company. I studied economics, and I have a knack for business development. This is why I am handling this project for my company. We have been in close contact with David Patillo over the makeover in our 3 factories, and we are ready to kickstart the one in Niagara Falls. I am initiating this mail because I was told that you would be handling things in our region. I have previously supplied the invoice number to you, and on this, I would be asking our final query on our contract terms before we commit to this process. In the coming days, I will be sending our final round of questions in the coming hours, and hopefully we start the payments in the coming days. Kindly let me know if you require any further information. Hello, Catherine. It is exceedingly nice to meet you. Where did you study economics? I almost went into that business myself until I was told it involves a lot of math, which never has been a strong subject for me. I figure if I can just get the answer from a computer, why do I need to learn all those numbers just so I can do it the hard way? By the way, one thing I asked David Patillo, but I guess he didn't know, was, is your Niagara Falls factory on the U.S. side of the falls or the Canadian side? Most people don't even know there are 2 different Niagara Falls right next to each other. I am certain that different laws and regulations apply to contracts with U.S. companies and contracts with Canadian companies. There's something about your vocabulary that induces me to guess that you're Canadian. I mean, you didn't say "a" or anything, but you just seem to have a Canadian way of talking. At any rate, it is lovely to meet you, and I look forward to receiving your final round of questions to enable you to start the payments in the coming days. A few minutes later, I update David on the goings-on that have been going on. Hey, David, I haven't received any communication from Kimberly. Has she stopped being one of our clients? I did hear from someone named Catherine. Is it possible that Kimberly got fired from her job and was replaced by an entirely different person? I know some radicals out there will accuse me of being sexist, whatever that actually means, which nobody knows, for saying this, but Biologically speaking, I don't think women belong in the business world. I say first have a woman learn how to cook a great casserole, especially for a keto diet, before she even thinks about trying to take away a good job from a qualified male worker. I know what I just said isn't politically correct, but it's the way I feel. And to quote Dr. Morris Albert, feelings are nothing more than feelings, which is why we must pay close attention to them. Anyway, I thought I should let you know about not having heard anything from Kimberly. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Trust this meets you well. Thank you for your steadfastness. Thank you for also being thorough. You are not going to believe that I misrepresented the name of Matt & Sons admin. Please note, Matt & Sons admin is Catherine, and she has been discussing their project in Niagara Falls with you. Go ahead and wait for her response. I am most certain that she is making arrangements on finalizing the project for payment. Again, you will hear from her, I trust. Also, please note that you may be having influx of customers before the week runs out. I have had to redirect 3 customers in the past 24 hours, so brace up. As usual, we would learn on a case-by-case basis. First up is the Niagara Falls project. Kindly note that as we progress on our onboarding of customers with your WeCon profile, I would require that you reconfirm the following information below. Remember, this information is needed for finalizing payments from customers. Please ensure it is filled accurately. Account name, account number, full name as stated on the account, routing number, bank address. I would appreciate if this is being filled and made available within the shortest time possible. P.S. Kindly check your inbox for new clients. I will be on standby for your response, dear WeCon Human. Do have a rewarding day. The following morning, I receive another copy of that same email. A few hours later, I hear once again from Matt & Sons, aka Matthew & Sons. Dear Rob, thank you for your email and my sincere apologies for the delayed response. I have been doing the final preparations required of me in the past few days. Our project estimated time is almost here, and we are ready to proceed with your team. I love economics. There is economics in everything. I am sure I will be sharing my experience with you as soon as time permits. I would like you to know that we are trying to renovate our facility in the Niagara Falls facility area, which spans around Tonawanda to the part of the Niagara Falls in New York. Thank you for your detail. I am of Canadian descent, and I love your knack for details. I am rest assured that we would not be having any difficulty in seeing through the gray areas of this project. The schedule below shows the items of our invoice number WeCon, number 322/864 Office 763/21. I felt it was necessary for you to know that we would be sending money for these items in tranches. I have also attached the invoice for better clarity. If you would love to know, I am also trying to get approval to get it all settled anyway, so however it goes, you will be the first to know, as I am told that you will be handling the end-to-end correspondence, clerical, and accounting duties. I have a great feeling that it would be nice to work with you, and I am ready for this process to kickstart. My team will be making the payments in the coming days. I will be on standby to notify you all the same. Next come inquiries from 2 new prospects. The first is from Margaret Marble Howard. Dear WeCon Consultant, I was informed that all engagements in my region are being handled by you. Kindly confirm if I am in the right light. Thank you. Hello, Margaret. Thank you for your message. So that I can give you an accurate answer to your question, what region are you in? Also, the name of your company, URL of its website, etc. And an inquiry from Roberta Levy. Dear WeCon Respondent, please confirm if I have reached the mailing address of WeCon's newest respondent in Florida. I will appreciate your prompt response as I would like to discuss an ongoing project. Thank you. Yes, this is the email address of WeCon's newest respondent in Florida. How may I help you? And now to address David's most recent communique. Hey David, sorry for the slight delay in my replying to your most recent email. This heat wave just won't let up. Equines continue to drop like sick horses, and it's difficult to say no to old and valued clients, even if I'll be stopping my HVM practice entirely as soon as this heat wave lets up. I don't know if you saw in the news, but Lieutenant Governor Martha Vandella has declared that for the first time in the state's history, horses no longer will be allowed to trot along the legendary Tamiami Trail. I never would have thought I would live to see that happen. It's like a bad dream. By the way, I just now this moment discovered 2 emails from new clients in my spam folder. Thankfully, I don't think either of them has been in that spam folder for more than a day. As soon as I finish writing this to you, I will respond to those other emails in the order they arrived in that box. Regarding my information that we need to reconfirm, I am a little bit confused where it says account name. I am not sure what you mean here. The last time you requested this information from me, it began by asking for the bank name. And on another line in your most recent email, it says full name as stated on the account. Account name and full name seem to redundantly repeat themselves, so I am guessing you meant to say bank name instead of account name. If I am guessing incorrectly and filling in the information incorrectly, please do tell me how it was supposed to be. Bank name, Citizens Bank and Trust, account number 3493868, full name as stated on the account, Rob McLean, routing number, I believe last time this was called routine number, but I assume they both mean the same thing as each other, 350-221-364. Bank address, and it looks as though I screwed up. I gave them my home address, and there's the space where the home address was input. If I'm correct about which information you wanted, then I'll send this to you now and then look at those other emails that piled up in my spam folder. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your email and your dedication to ensuring that our brand grows. I am also sorry to learn about the horses and how these trying times has been. I trust one has been assisting with your best. The world indeed needs you to save Mother Earth's creation whilst you can. I'm rooting for you, dear hero. Please let me state here that I appreciate the updates that you share over the happenings over there. It really enlightens me more. Going straight to Econ business, thank you for sharing your details, and I must say that you are also getting the hang of my word usage, which is a good thing for us as team members. Quick update about Catherine's team. The team reached out to me saying that they have communicated the list of our services that they want to pay for. Remember our training. Now that they have agreed to pay, the next thing is to provide them with a full detailed invoice with the banking details that they are to pay to. Please see the attached. This contains the full summary of what Catherine's team would be paying for. However, they have communicated that they would be paying in tranches, in bits. So I trust that they would keep us informed of every payment that is being made to your account, and you will have to take note so that you can be ready for disbursement whenever you are required to. Please see the attached again, in case Catherine's team need you to share to them again. I have shared it with them before now, but I would like you to have a copy just in case you are being asked to provide it. Kindly go ahead with the emails and let me know if you have any fresh clients that we can tend to, as this would be beneficial to our work and learn process. I would like to thank you for your continued commitment. I believe the money from Catherine's team would come into your account this week. Kindly be conversant with the account and send me a mail as soon as you get any payment at all. Hoping to hear from you soon. And here's the attached invoice. Hey David, thank you for sending me the copy of the Matthew & Sons Limited invoice, which I will keep on file just in case they need another copy. In addition to Matthew & Sons Limited, I have heard from 1. Someone named Roberta Levy. Unfortunately, she did not say what company she works for. 2. Someone who calls herself Margaret Marble Howard, asking if she is correct in thinking that all engagements in my region are being handled by you. I told her that I cannot determine if she is correct unless she tells me what her region is. I would have thought that requirement is obvious, but I guess people have different levels of obviosity. I also requested that she tell me the name of the company she works for. This is all the news from this end. I will be sure to let you know when the payment from Matthew & Sons Limited arrives. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for intimating me on this request. This is an excellent avenue to commence our training on the job. Firstly, I need you to know that you are Wecon's sole representative in the U.S. for now, and we have rightly documented you in our data for everyone who wishes to do business with Wecon in the U.S. More often than not, you will get prospective customers requesting to know if you are the one to attend to their requests. You are required to do the following upon receipt of such inquiries. A. Introduce yourself and your job role in Wecon. Also, welcome customers in a warm manner, telling them when they can reach you for a phone call. B. Get a rundown of their biodata. Ask them to fill the following: name, company, address, type of project — our prospective customers also know all of our services — brief detail of the project, existing or new customer, referrer, contact details. The details above would normally give you a first-time understanding of the intended project, and afterwards you should be able to recommend a list of services that the customers may be requiring to get their projects fulfilled. I would like to stop here on the explanations. As soon as you get the details from the new customers, please share with me. I would also go further in our training on the job. Finally, kindly be on the lookout for payments in your account, as I have been briefed that Catherine's team are going to make the payment sooner than expected. Could you please share an update about the equines? I'm so vested now. Probably I'm being overly cynical, but I find it hard to believe he's really so vested in the equines. Thank you, Rob. Well done. Later that same morning, Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Trust you are having a great day. Quick one, I have just been contacted by Catherine's team, and their feedback is that the routing number on your account is not correct. Could you please verify this and share with me again? I'll be anticipating your response. Thank you. Let's reply to the first of that day's emails from David. Hey David, I guess I should create some sort of form letter to stick into an email when a prospective or new customer contacts me. What is my formal official job role, per A, in your instructions? Does Wecon plan to provide me with business cards? They could come in handy if I'm somewhere and a prospective customer asks for my card. The equine status remains heartbreakingly endangered. The high temperature here today was only 96 degrees Fahrenheit, and I haven't learned Celsius, although it seems that almost all other countries use that now. In that regard, it seems as though the world has turned upside down, and not in a good way. Old-timers around here remember and often talk about the winter when there came a killing frost, very different from conditions today. According to the old stories, this was before my time, so I can't say 100% if this is true, it was so freezing cold that a beautiful pony named Wildfire busted down its stall and got lost forever in the blizzard. Legend has it that on particularly cold nights, you can hear Wildfire howling in the faraway distance. While probably at one time there was a wildfire, I suspect the rest is just an old wives' tale that guys share around the campfire if they go camping, which I think anyone would be crazy to do in this heat. I haven't received any payments from Catherine's team yet. I will be certain to let you know when the first one arrives. And now the surprising problem of which David advised me. Hey David, the routing number is not correct. I called my bank on the telephone again earlier today while they were still open. It seems that each time I call them, I get a different person on the line, often resulting in different information than I received earlier from some other person who answered the phone before I talked to the new person. The bank person I talked with on the telephone earlier today said the correct routing number is 063103407. I can't find the earlier email in which I originally sent you my bank information, so I can't be certain if this number I'm giving you here is different than the earlier one, but I'm pretty sure it is a different number, in which case it must be the right one. If this is the correct routing number, I don't know why someone else at the bank previously told me a different number in an earlier telephone call, but the lady I talked to today sounded very certain that she knew what she was talking about, so I think it's safe to assume this one is the correct number. Please accept my apologies for the confusion and also pass them along to Catherine's team. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Trust you are having a great weekend. I know this is not a typical workday, but I have been getting a lot of emails lately and I wanted to tend to everyone. I have routed some new clients your way. They would reach out. Do ensure to get their details just like we learned the last time. Also, I would love to thank you for verifying the routing number. It has been confirmed okay by Catherine's team, and they would be crediting your account in the coming days. Please keep an eye on that one. I hope to hear from you soon about the new customers that reached out to you in the past week. Do have a great week ahead. Hey David, thank goodness the bank finally provided us with the correct routing number. So far, I have heard from 4 prospective clients. 1, Catherine, who seems nice but didn't include her last name, which seems unusual for someone engaged in a business correspondence. But she says she's of Canadian descent, which might at least partially explain her odd business style. She works for Matthew & Sons Limited. It could be that she's the sister of one of the sons, which also might partially explain how she got hired there. She said her team would be sending payments to us in the coming days, but that was 10 days ago, and I haven't heard from her since. I also haven't received any payments from her. She also said that as part of the contract, we will be performing placing of PCC, which I've never heard of before. I asked her what she's referring to, but she never answered. While she seems nice enough, in all honesty, I have to say she seems a bit flaky. 2. Matthew Nunley. He wouldn't tell me who he works for or what it's all about. Instead, he asked me to kindly confirm if he is in the right light. He ended his message by saying he's very sincere, but that was 2 weeks ago, and although I promptly replied to him, I haven't heard anything else from him. 3. Roberta Levy. She didn't even tell me the name of the company she works for, so I have no idea what she wants. More than a week ago, I asked how I can help her, and she hasn't replied yet, so I don't know how serious she is. 4. Margaret Marble Howard. You won't believe this one. She, too, didn't identify her employer or give me any information at all. Instead, she said, I was informed that all engagements in my region are being handled by you and wanted me to confirm if she is in the right light. But she didn't bother to tell me what region she is in, so I have no way of knowing if her light is right. I wrote back immediately and asked her to tell me what region she is in and also the name of her company. Just like Roberta Levy, she has not replied to my own reply that asked what region she is in. I have a feeling she's just some kind of practical joker. I mean, who would be so foolish as to ask if I handle her region but won't tell me what her region is? But I just now this moment noticed something that is strange or odd or peculiar. Just like Matthew Nunley, she asked me to, and I quote word for word in a verbatim manner, kindly confirm if I am in the right light. Those are the exact words that Matthew Nunley also used. I know I'm still relatively new to this business, but doesn't that strike you as very odd or strange? That seems like quite a coincidence, don't you think? I don't know your opinion on this topic, but I've always thought there's a lot of wisdom contained in the old French proverb, if it seems like a coincidence, you can be sure it is not. I might not have quoted that proverb 100% perfectly. No doubt it sounds a lot better in the original French. I think the above report includes all the pertinent activity pertaining to the various Wecon-related communications I have received thus far, as of right now. I hope you have a great week starting on Monday. If I can call them before they close tomorrow, I'll check to see if that payment from Catherine has arrived. And here's Margaret once again. Hello, Rob. I hereby tender my unreserved apologies for my overdue response. Do you notice that in terms of vocabulary and sentence structure, Margaret speaks pretty much exactly as David does? If I didn't know better. How have you been? I work for Manhattan Painting Company, and our address is in Manhattan Beach in the U.S. On behalf of my team, we would like to do business with your team, and I would like to give you a breakdown of our request. Please confirm if you require any further information from me before I delve into the reason I'm contacting your firm. Thank you. Hello, Margaret. To answer your question, I have been overly hot due to the extremely hot weather we are experiencing. Is it that way where you are, too? Is the name of your company Manhattan Painting Company, or did I misinterpret your words and you were saying the painting company you work for is located in Manhattan, New York City, New York? At any rate, we would be honored to work with you to the mutual satisfaction of both of us. Please do go ahead and delve into the reason you're contacting us. That will enable us to determine what's the next step for us to take. Hello, Rob. Thank you for your time so far. I wish to let you know our factory in Manhattan area needs construction work as we look to extend the department in the production unit. We intend to make an alteration to the international compartment of the present building that we maintain. We wish to expand the spaces in between to accommodate the new department that we wish to welcome into Manhattan Painting. Also, we would like to have a fresh supply of interior consumables that your team thinks befit the space. Please proceed to liaise with your team to suggest the man, material, and other costs that would be needed for the project. I will be on standby for your response in order for us to go to the negotiation phase. Thank you. Hello, David. This person has asked me to proceed to liaise with your team to suggest the man, material, and other costs that would be needed for the project. Please pass this info along to the department that determines costs, materials, timeline, etc. for this type of project. Now, Catherine checks in with me. Dearest Rob, this is to acknowledge receipt of your email. While I understand the business cycle, being an economist, I would really like to plead our cause. We are indeed very interested in getting this project done. Honestly, I have written several justifications as to why we have to be proactive about the project, but as you know, I deal with superiors and other business units, and it has been my job to unify our thoughts on this project. There have been some kickbacks, and I am working on the reactions that I have received in lieu of the project. Reactions she has received in lieu of the project. Okay. However, I have some great news. This week is the week where I get the final approval for payments, and I am definitely using your last email as another justification stating why we need to credit your firm through you as soon as possible. Again, I would like to apologize on behalf of my team. We shall do the needful. In the coming weeks, I would also be prompt with giving you updated information about the proceedings as it comes this week. Finally, I appreciate your health tips. It would really come in handy, and I would adhere to them. Please be safe. Best, Kath. Dearest Rob? Signed, Kath? She seems to be getting a bit more personal here. Meanwhile, some more instructions from David. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for your mail. I would like to advance our training and recall the sequence as you position in Equine as a partner who converts inquiries from customers to actual project business. The process we have known so far is highlighted below. A. Getting inquiries from customers. B. Getting an invoice curated for the intent of the customers. I personally handle this for you. And here is the personally handled curated invoice. C. Assigning unique IDs to the client's projects upon the acceptance of our quotation. D. Providing clarification and follow-up to ensure payment and commencement of project. E. Disbursement of the project fund in order to ensure that other stakeholders are funded to commence work. For the project of Manhattan painting, we are on the B series shown above, and I have provided the invoice so you can further engage the customer. As soon as the customer acknowledges, negotiates the invoice, you will have to communicate back to me, and as soon as we reach a middle ground, you will have to assign project ID invoice no to the project, and further liaise with the customer to make payment before the project commences. Perfect. Whilst I write this, I could actually sense how far you have gone with understanding the processes of your job, and I also remember how you were bothered about how you would cope on the job. Well, I wish to tell you that you have been flawless so far. Keep up the good work. Please continue the process and follow up as it may require. I will be on standby to receive your latest report on any subjects under your purview. Have a great day, Rob. Of course, I already know my work has been flawless so far, but I'm glad he noticed too. Okay, let's forward that invoice to Manhattan Painting Company. Hello, Margaret. Attached, please find itemized invoice for your proposed building alterations. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. We look forward to working with you. I reckon it's time to update David once again on the various developments. Hey, David, Catherine, she never gave me her last name, of Matthew & Sons, wrote to me to say, I am pleased to inform you that my team has signed the much-anticipated contract. It is even better, as the team thought of replicating my idea for our Tonawanda facility in another facility in the state. She is requesting an updated invoice from your firm, as we would like to have the newly proposed dates for the project commencement in Tonawanda. Also, I would like you to document and generate a new invoice for the replication of this Tonawanda project in our other facility in Oregon. I am flummoxed about what she wants. First, she says they want to replicate her idea for another facility in the state, that is, New York. But moments later says, I would like you to document and generate a new invoice for the replication of this Tonawanda project in our other facility in Oregon. She adds, I have attached the previous invoice for the Tonawanda project as you may need it to replicate the project in Oregon. I would be expecting to receive the new invoices. Hopefully the quote stays the same. At this point, you're probably thinking of Michelet's famous declaration, woman is a miracle of divine contradictions, which is all well and good when it's in a book. But business, as you know, is different from books, and I am completely confuddled by what she wants. Is it 2 projects in the state of New York? Is it 1 project in the state of New York and another in the state of Oregon? If so, where in Oregon? Or is it 3 projects, 2 in New York State and 1 in Oregon? If you can figure out what it is she wants, please send me a revised invoice, or perhaps separate invoices, one for each project. In her defense, I learned that by her own admission, she is of Canadian ancestry. Still, if she wants to do business in America, I do think she needs to step up her game a little, or a lot. She dragged this on so long that finally I told her we have no openings for new jobs until December. That's the penalty for continually putting it off by procrastinating so much. So the dates you put in the new and/or revised invoices should be in December 2022. Thanks for helping me straighten out this imbroglio. I hope everything is going well for you where you are. P.S. The contract code is WECON number 322/864 Office 763/21. P.P.S. Finally, the awful heat wave around here has abated. As a result, my HVM practice has dwindled away, which was fine because I knew I'd start getting paid by WECON, but I didn't know I'd be waiting this long for our first client. If the payment from Matthew & Sons doesn't arrive this coming week, I might have to request a modest advance to tide me afloat until our first payment from a client arrives. I hope that won't be too inconvenient for you or for WECON. 3 hours later, I received this exceedingly brief and mysterious email from, I assume, Catherine at Matthew & Sons, or as they sometimes call themselves, Matt & Sons. Kind reminder. If brevity is the soul of wit, that's one of the wittiest messages imaginable. Or maybe there was some sort of error. I figure I should ask. Hello, Catherine. Was there supposed to be more to your message than just the 2 words? Another couple of hours later, I hear from David. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for this email. I recognize your concerns about the delay to this project and the tardy ways in which Catherine Glenn conveys her mails. She is Canadian, and of course she needs a touch of how it is on our side of town. I'm sure it will get better. So I think I understand what she wants. Initially, they made inquiries about 3 facilities in the U.S., but I would like to believe our pricing made them restructure the contract, but I can see that they only want us to work on 2 of their facilities, and I also see that they are ready to make payments for it. I would proceed to advise the documentation team to make their invoice available with the updated cost of the projects. I would like to confirm if she mentioned the first tranche of payment from her team that you should be expecting. Kindly confirm. Lastly, you can send an image of her mail that conveys the last information for my review. Again, like I said, we will make the invoice available and send it to you. Then you can advise her team to go ahead and start making payments to you. I will be expecting the information I requested. Thank you. Off record. I recognize your concerns. We will speed up all arrangements with Catherine's team and ensure you get commissioned as soon as the payment is received. Thank you for your dedication. I will expect your response at your earliest convenience. Best regards. Hey, David. Boy, both of us are working on the weekend. I think we are working too hard. I had hoped to join a lady friend of my acquaintance for a relaxing picnic in Rosemary Woods, but I made the mistake of checking my email first and have been stuck in front of the computer all day now. I am attaching a photograph of Catherine Glenn's, so that's her full name, most recent email that she sent to me as part of the correspondence in which we have been engaging. Actually, it's her next to last penultimate email to me. Her most recent email arrived yesterday and consisted of 2 words, kind reminder. I think maybe she's speaking in some sort of code and she assumes I know what kind reminder means, but I don't know, and frankly, I'm clueless. She did mention the trenches she would be sending me, but did not reply when I asked her how large they would be and how many she would be sending. I would like to prepare ahead of time in advance by clearing out a space for them, but I can't get her to tell me their sizes. I'm not exactly certain which part of her email you'd like to see, so I am including right here a picture of most of what was in it. And I attach a screenshot of the email from Catherine. I hope the above includes the information you were hoping to see. If there is something that you wanted me to include but which I didn't include from her email, please LU-side me and I will send to you whatever part is missing too. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for sharing this information. I would like to confirm to you that my assertion from my last mail are indeed correct. The team wants to do identical project on its 2 sites and are ready to make the payments. From the photographs you share, it is seen that she said her team would make a payment of $67,000 in the coming days to you. That would be the first part of their payment. The admin team has also been advised to prepare an updated invoice, capturing all costs for both project and also highlighting their part payments and balance. Please see the attached and issue it to Catherine, advising her to get the payment sent down to you in the coming days, as you will be waiting to receive and instruct our execution team to carry on with the project. I must salute your patience with Catherine, as she is a lady that is just mediating between her superiors, and sometimes she gets so under pressure. Finally, it looks almost easy, as you have been able to secure the first project for the team. Please stay updated with UBank and do not hesitate to confirm funds received. Thank you, and I will be an email away if you have any feedback. And here's the updated invoice. A few days later, David checks in to see what's happening. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Trust you are having a great day. I was hoping to check in on you for update if you have received the payment from Catherine's team. I will appreciate your rapt resolution. Next comes a surprising message from Catherine. Hello, Rob. Thank you for your email. I have been anticipating the updated invoice from you. My team needs it as soon as possible. The payments would be made 48 work hours after receipt of the updated invoice. Please assist to get this sent to me. Hello, Catherine. I wonder if there was an email you sent to me that never was delivered here. Prior to your message today, it has been 8 days since I received an email from you whose entire message was kind reminder. I promptly responded quickly and asked if there was supposed to be more to your message than just those 2 words. That was 8 days ago, and since then I have awaited your response. Now that I know you have been anticipating the updated invoice from me, I am rushing it to you ASAP. Unless some sort of technical error occurred, you should find it attached to this message. Please give my best regards to your team when you give it to them, and let them know the reason they have been waiting so long for it was that there was a delay. Let's see, as I recall, David has been awaiting an update. Hey David, thank you for checking on the progress of the payment from Matthew & Sons. I had been patiently waiting for Catherine to explain a mysterious 2-word message she sent me more than a week ago. Prompted by your query and also by an email that arrived from Catherine just a little while ago, I have sent her the revised agreement and expect the payment to arrive in 2 or maybe 3, because this is the weekend and probably she won't see it until tomorrow, days. I will be certain to let you know as soon as payment is received here. Hello, Catherine. We have not yet received payment from you or your team. Based upon representations made in your email of September 25, we should have received your payment not later than yesterday. This is disappointing and may result in our having either once again to reschedule the work in question or to cancel the arrangement altogether. Please confirm that payment will be made not later than the end of business day tomorrow. Well, Catherine doesn't meet that deadline. Several days pass before I hear from her again. Hello, Rob. Trust this finds you well. I hereby confirm to you that I received your mail on the 29th of September, exactly the time you sent it, and it was due to the shock of realization that you have not received the funds that got me working overtime to understand the delay by our account officers. The account team contacted me 24 hours ago, telling me that the payment was initiated by the head of our accounts department, and he initiated the payment in Singapore, and due to the time required for international transfers, hence the delay. I have escalated the issue, and the head of the accounts himself asked me to inform you that the funds will arrive at your account no later than Friday this week. As a matter of fact, you can anticipate the payment any time from now, but not later than this Friday. I would like to tender our unreserved apologies for the delay so far. I must also commend your professional follow-ups. I also do not like delays, but you have treated us well, and we shall recommend you as this trait is not common. Thank you again. Hoping to have you confirm the funds within the shortest time possible. Please tell me how you have been holding up with the weather conditions. Also, I will appreciate any tips on how to cope also. Hoping to hear from you soon. Best regards. Well, I didn't get where I am today by accepting lame excuses from people who owe me money. Hey David, I have received an email from Catherine at Matthew & Sons offering some lame excuse for still not having paid the invoice we sent them. 3 weeks ago, on September 14, she said, I got both contracts signed, Rob, and you will be receiving the sum of $67,000 in less than 10 days from now. This is utmostly certain. That would have been not later than September 24. Now she says, you can anticipate the payment any time from now, but not later than this Friday. That's Friday, October 7. Catherine seems like a nice enough girl, but as the Scottish proverb goes, one action is worth more than 100 good intentions. Either she is in over her head, or she simply is unreliable. I am willing to wager that she'll have some excuse for not meeting her own self-selected October 7 deadline. Meanwhile, it has been 3 weeks since I sent an itemized invoice to Margaret Marble Howard of Manhattan Painting Company, and I haven't heard from her since. As you probably know, the hurricane has devastated the entire state, even Lake Wales, which is far from either coast and never before has experienced an actual hurricane. Sure, it's not unusual for us to get lots of rain when there's a hurricane, but never before have we been hit by the hurricane itself. Some idiot drowned when he tried to surf the lake during the actual hurricane. I think of myself as a caring and empathetic person, but what did the guy expect, you know? My own home sustained so much damage I can't believe it. The roof collapsed, the inside of the house was flooded. Like most Florida houses, we don't have a basement, and much of the furnishings were ruined, including treasured heirlooms from some of my dead relatives. And now the insurance companies say they're not paying any claims because it was an act of God and not their fault. If that's the case, what's the point of having insurance? My monthly mortgage payment was due today. Technically, it was due on Saturday. And fortunately for me, the bank was completely flooded and won't be able to reopen for at least another day. But when it does reopen, they're going to want my mortgage payment that I already spent stocking up on hurricane supplies, canned food, cases of drinking water, magazines, etc. Meanwhile, I've spent the past couple of days doing nothing but trying to deflood the interior of the house, which required renting both a shop vac and a water pump, and has put me even deeper in the hole financially. I hate to bring this up, but although I've been working hard, communicating back and forth with numerous prospects for a couple of months now, I haven't received my first monthly allowance of $5,800. Until the hurricane hit us, I could afford to wait for the first month's allowance to arrive. Over the course of just a few days, however, my financial situation has been turned upside down, and not in a good way. I don't know exactly when the allowance was supposed to begin, but I'd really appreciate it if Equine would make the first monthly allowance payment before the end of this week. In addition to the hurricane-induced financial crisis, I recently shut down my professional HVM practice in order to concentrate 100% on Equine. So that long-time income stream first became a tiny trickle and now has dried up completely. Would you please instruct the accounting department to send the first monthly allowance payment to me by, say, the end of this week, Friday? I should be able to stall the mortgage bank until then. Thanks so much for your understanding and help during this unexpectedly difficult time. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Trust you are having a great day. Thank you for this update, and I commemorate with you on the recent happenings at you home. I hope you have been holding up well. Based on the issues raised by you, I have been able to contact Catherine's team, and I can confirm that you can check your account for the money. I raised our collective concerns to the team, and they initiated the transaction immediately. Please check your account statement and revert to me as soon as possible. I really cannot have you go through the conditions described alone, so please go ahead and confirm payment in your account, and let's have you disperse the funds while you use the commission in the same vein to bring yourself back to stability. I will be waiting for your response in earnest. Best regards. David, I checked with the bank and no such payment has been received. They even checked their overnight transactions in case the alleged payment arrived late and won't officially be credited until tomorrow. I asked the manager if their hurricane recovery might somehow have delayed either the receipt or the reporting of the receipt of such a payment. He said, definitely not. I no longer can believe anything Catherine or her employer says. In the past, some friends and 2 relatives have told me I'm too trusting and too willing to forgive people who have wronged me repeatedly. My misplaced trust in that woman and in her employer has put me in a nightmare situation. They have harmed me more than any hurricane ever could. Their broken promises and misrepresentations may well result in my losing my home to foreclosure. You didn't respond to my query about possibly receiving my first monthly allowance payment this week. I assume if you were able to effect such payment, you would have told me. You always have had my best interests at heart. As a result of everything mentioned above, I now find myself in a nightmare situation. Entertaining and ultimately accepting what seemed to be an interesting occupational shift appears to have nullified my lifetime of steady work and professional accomplishment. I do not know what else to say beyond what I already have said above. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. At the sight of your last mail, I swinged into action and I was going to go to any length to do right by you. I put a call through to Catherine's team, furiously stating our grievances, and I demanded a receipt of their payment to your account as an insurance for us. This is because I was willing to cut ties with them if they cannot be trusted, as you have right-educated me on their dealings. So I got the invoice, and I can confirm to you, not through mere words this time, that the payments would arrive your account today instead of yesterday that was reported to me. This is the outcome of my furiously thorough findings. As it stands, I would have to plead to you on behalf of Catherine's team. I personally asked her to issue an apology to you as soon as you receive the funds, and I will also look into how the management can rectify and prevent issues like this one resurfacing. I apologize for this long and unending cycle. It is surely at its end now. Please go ahead and do a final confirmation on your account during the course of the day. You will get the funds, I'm positive. Please alert me as soon as you get the funds. The following day, he sends me an identical copy of that email. And yet another identical copy the following day. That same day, I hear from Catherine again. Hello, Rob. It is me again, Catherine. I honestly know all about how things have been with you. It is so sad to learn about the distortions at your residence. To be very honest with you, I did my possible best to have these funds come in before today. When someone keeps telling me how honest they are, it's a pretty good bet that they're not. I did my best, and this is a confirmation that the money has been deposited in your bank account. Kindly do the needful and have your team commence the necessary proceedings. As a matter of fact, I have issued a stern note to my team on the causes of our delay, and we greatly apologize for the delay. Kindly confirm the receipt of the funds as soon as possible, and I will intimate you further on the further course of action. Also, I will need your directions on how you would like us to convey our modest apology gift to your residents. Thank you for your unflinching patience once again, and I hope to hear from you soon. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again to Equine Limited Construction and Engineering. Trust this meets you well. Information reaching the team has it that you have been credited the sum of $49,000 in your account for the commencement of Matthew & Sons project in Tonawanda and Oregon, respectively. We are, by mandate and procedure, required to issue a response confirming the recipient of their commitment and thereafter announce the commencement of their project. Our non-response for more than 24 hours may attract legal recourse from our client. Kindly reaffirm the theme of this mail and respond promptly. I will be on standby for your response. David, no payment of any kind has been received by my bank. Whoever told you payment has been made told you a big fib, and they should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know how Matthew & Sons benefits from wasting our time, but all they do is make promises that they don't keep. Maybe this is just some sort of game they play to amuse themselves. If so, either they don't understand or they don't care that their behavior can ruin other people's lives. That's what they have done to mine. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. I am amazed. In all my years of experience, this is odd one out. I will not condone any further discrepancies from Matthew & Sons' team. Rob, I need you to do the following to enable me to declare the payment claim from Matthew & Sons team null and void. 1. Please confirm your account number. The account where the money was claimed to have been paid is 349-38658. By my calculations, if this account is fine, then I can confidently barge through Matthew & Sons' office. I mean, we gave them all the details. 2. Please also confirm your phone number. The welfare team tried contacting you via this number, and he refers to the phone number I had provided, in which you registered upon contact. We were told that the number does not belong to you by the person who answered the phone. I need the team to get an updated contact detail, and if you get to change your vital infos going forward, kindly ensure to always update me about it. 3. Kindly also request for your updated bank statement, as at today from your bank, to be sent to your email, then you can forward the same to me. I will use this to advise the company to take the necessary actions against Matthew & Sons. Team. Upon receipt of these items, response document above. I will go ahead and process your salary and severance payment in light of the recent happenings in your household. Rob, you have been my best and proactive hand in your region, and I will do right by you on this matter. I await your apt response to the details I require to make this issue all right. Thank you. A couple of days later, Catherine sends me another very brief message. Hello? Kind reminder. Catherine, no, we have not received your funds transfer. From this point forward, it is best if you communicate directly with my supervisor, David Patillo, and I give David's email address. Thank you. David checks in again. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. I hope this meets you well. Please be informed that I anticipate your response to my previous mail. This is needed in order to accomplishing the previously stated plans in my previous mail. I eagerly await your response. David, 1. My bank account number definitely is 349-38658. 2. To my surprise and embarrassment, however, it appears I made a typo when I sent you my phone number. 1 digit is incorrect. My correct phone number is, and here I replace a 1 with the correct digit 2. I apologize for my typing error, and I feel bad for whoever the person is who has been receiving phone calls asking to speak to me. Because of the hurricane destruction, no one in my neighborhood has had their regular phone service restored yet. I say regular because the phones do work sporadically, and then they don't again. There have been 3 times already when I thought the phones were fixed because suddenly I could hear a dial tone, and then a few minutes later they were dead again. But even when the phones aren't working, if you call me during those times, I believe you should be able to leave a voicemail message because that is recorded and kept somewhere inside the internet rather than in my actual phone. Until our telephone service and internet service really are restored, I have to go to the library to get online, which is why it has taken me longer than usual to respond to your most recent message. The library has been staying open later than usual to handle all the people who are coming in there, which I think is nice of them. 3. I don't do online banking. My bank statement is mailed to me each month. The way I found out whether Matthew & Sons has paid me is I called the bank and they checked for me. But even if I already had received the statement covering the time period that includes when they were supposed to pay and made a copy of it, I would not send it to them or to anybody. It's none of their business. They easily can see they haven't transferred money to me by looking at their own bank statements, or if they don't do online banking, calling their bank. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you this detailed clarification, and I also understand your position about this payment. However, I would like to intimate you further on what I have confirmed. It will interest you to know that it was confirmed that the money was confirmed sent to your account last Thursday. I know you are actually very agile with your duty, and all of this us coming up at a very wrong time when your residence is not in the best shape, but please assist in reaching your bank when the telephone service comes back up today, just to confirm your balance. Once I get this confirmation from you, I will process other proceedings towards getting you liquid to stable out through this period. I will be eagerly waiting to receive your response. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. I have just tried reaching out to you right now, and I can confirm that the number isn't responsive. Also, I was told that the number is a text now number. I am not sure what this is. Could you put a call across to me anytime? I will be on standby to call you back. I'll appreciate your response to my previous mail also. David, I don't know how long it will last, but suddenly the internet started up again here. I will write this as quickly as possible before it disappears again, unless finally it's here to stay. Text Now is the online service that allows me to place telephone calls and holds my voicemail. It appears that you left me 2 voicemail messages late this morning. There is a 4-second recording and a 5-second recording, but neither of them says anything. Was there a problem when you went to leave a message? In your earlier today email, you said you tried to call, but the number isn't responsive. Can you explain what you mean? You didn't hear the ringing sound or hear the recorded lady saying, "I'm not available, but please leave a message"? The 2 recorded messages that don't say anything on them did record when you called, but the recordings were completely silent. There wasn't any static or anything like that. Did you hear static on your end? It says you were calling from the 404 area code, which I'm pretty sure is Atlanta, Georgia. Are you in the Atlanta area now? What times in Atlanta, which is the same as my time, are best to call you? And I assume I should call you at 404 and then I fill in the rest of the phone number in question. That is the phone number they show for the 2 empty voicemails. It also shows that you sent me a text, which might be the first text I've ever received because I didn't realize it handles text too. Maybe now or later, I will join all those teenagers who always are sending texts right there in the movie theater while we're trying to watch the movie. Just joking. Unlike the 2 voicemails, the text wasn't empty. I see where you informed me that a deposit was confirmed on Thursday and asked me to confirm and revert. I can't call the bank today because today is Sunday. I did check with the bank on Friday and they said no money has arrived in my account. Tomorrow is a holiday that remembers the time that Columbus discovered America and all the banks will be closed. I can go to the bank on Tuesday and have them show me on their computers where no money has arrived from Matthew & Sons, but I know they would have told me the earlier times when I asked about it. I don't know how these things work between 2 companies. What was it that confirmed for you that the money was confirmed sent to my account last Thursday? For example, did Matthew & Sons give you some sort of document that said they sent the money or a sworn affidavit or something? Regardless of what they provided to you, I do not think it's possible they are telling the truth. They have made false promises to us right down the line, with the only verifiable result being that they've left me stuck in the middle with you in this mess of theirs. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for the detailed feedback. This is getting a bit clearer now. Once again, I commemorate with happenings at your end. Please stay all together through this season. I will keep trying to reach you. However, this may be of vital information for you. Matthew & Sons provided a confirmation of payment. I told you I had received that last Thursday. Kindly visit the bank and try to reach them before you can finally go to the bank physically after the break. Once you have finished your confirmation and your bankers are able to confirm you that you've got no funds of $49,000, then I can complete the summary of my findings and proceed with the next straps as I have communicated previously. I await your findings in earnest. Thank you. David, I do understand that you told me last Thursday you received confirmation of payment. What I was inquiring about was what form the confirmation consisted of, sworn affidavit, etc. I went over to the bank today after they reopened after the Monday holiday. I asked for the head cashier, who probably has more experience than the other girl, and explained the situation. She checked again and said no such money had been transferred to my account and that it would have been easy for her to spot because my account has minimal activity. I asked her to show me my account activity, like getting a sneak preview of my monthly statement, but she said her computer can't display it like that. But she did turn her computer around for me to view what they call account status, or account static, I'm not sure which. It showed the account number and my name and how long I've had the account and also the account's current balance, and that current balance was unfortunately way below the $49,000 Matt & Sons claims to have sent to me. In fact, it is getting so low that at the moment I don't even have enough to pay a roofing company to repair my roof. Some friends might come on over to my place to help me fix it ourselves. One of them has been watching YouTube videos about roof repairs, and he thinks we can do it. I would think that you need a lot of roof repairing experience before you can repair a roof. I mean, even more than watching the YouTube videos. Plus, he says some of the videos contradict each other, which only adds to the confusion. Personally, I don't relish the idea of trying to get up on the roof and do things there. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I had assumed that between Matthew & Son's payment and my first month's allowance from Econ Limited, I wouldn't have anything to worry about. Now I'm in the worst situation I've maybe ever been in my life. I'm seeing too late that giving up my HVM practice might have been a huge mistake. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Thank you for taking the endeavor to your bank to check your balance. Without taking your time any further, please give a detailed account of how much you got in your account in place of the proposed $49,000. I was told that you directed Catherine's team to me, and I have been able to speak to them over the phone where I was given a heads up that Taxed must have depleted the funds since it was sent by their director in Singapore. So please confirm the amount that you received so I can lay this all to rest. I would like to receive your response before dusk today. Thank you. I earnestly await. Best regards. The next day, David sends me a duplicate of that message. And several hours later, he follows up with another reminder. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Please take this as a kind reminder on my last email. I urgently require your response so as to avoid legal recourse from our clients. They have reached out that they would like to meet with you personally. They have your location, and they are requesting a meeting in the next 24 hours. I told them that you and I need to align with what you have received in your account. So please let me know what you received in your account in order to rectify the gaps before you have a physical meeting with Matthew & Son's team. I will be okay standby as usual. Best regards. David, sorry it has taken me a couple of days to respond to your emails. In addition to trying to salvage my home from the flood damage, I spent most of today waiting in a very crowded temporary FEMA office where I and lots of other people are applying for emergency assistance. There seems to be some confusion please give a detailed account of how much you got in your account in place of the proposed $49,000. I didn't receive anything in place of the $49,000. Matthew & Sons has sent me $0, nothing at all. I don't understand the value of my meeting with the Matthew & Sons team. They are saying they sent me $49,000. They sent me nothing. And that was after weeks of broken promises. What is a physical meeting with those guys supposed to accomplish for us? Again, my apologies for my unusual delay in responding to your messages. Several days later, I reach out to David again. David, it's been a week since I last heard from you, so I thought I'd better check in. It feels awkward for me to bring this up again, but I was under the impression Econ Limited would have sent me my first month's $5,800 allowance well before now. Because of the very odd games played by Matthew & Sons Limited, my financial situation has become dire. No matter what they say, or how many times they say it, Matthew & Sons Limited has not paid even a penny. As I write this, I am reminded that there was one question I had asked you a couple of times, your having stated you received confirmation of payment, asking in what form you received that confirmation. Because I know for sure my bank wouldn't have confirmed receiving even a penny from Matthew & Sons, I am guessing the confirmation you referred to took the form of some sort of invoice or receipt or other paperwork from Matthew & Sons. If so, it sounds as though they are attempting to perpetrate some sort of fraud with a perjured document. Would you please rush the first month's $5,800 allowance to me today? I am counting on that first monthly payment to cover some of the staggeringly large debts I have incurred, due not to poor budgeting by me, but rather than by a weather event of a ferocity neither I nor anyone I know has experienced before. I am writing this to you on Thursday. Please transfer the funds to my account today. If I am really lucky, the transfer will appear this same day. Otherwise, my bank should be able to confirm receipt no later than Friday, tomorrow, of this week. I hope you agree I have been working diligently and hard for Econ Limited, and that I haven't nagged you for the money, even though it seems to be a little bit overdue. Please advise so that I can tell the bank what to expect and when it probably will arrive. That's odd. Still no response from David. Maybe I need to nudge him a little. David, I haven't heard from you for almost 2 weeks. You haven't responded to my last 2 emails. What is going on? I have been counting on you to make good your promise of expediting my overdue first month's allowance of $5,800. Now that electricity has been restored in this area, I just received a notice saying they're going to turn off my electricity if I don't pay my overdue bill. Obviously, Econ Limited doesn't have to worry about cash flow problems, but I certainly do. The hurricane swept away much of my home and most of my belongings, including precious photographs of my parents and grandparents, and even Ralphie, who I have had since I was a child and whose cuddly demeanor helped me get through numerous life challenges going all the way back to my childhood. I can't believe you have just left me dangling here for nearly 2 weeks. Why have I not heard from you? Why has the first month's allowance of $5,800 not been sent to me? I have been so diligent in handling my Econ Limited duties, and it never occurred to me that Econ Limited might not honor its part of our business arrangement. I suppose it's possible that you've had some sort of accident or caught COVID, and I hope that's the case, because otherwise I don't know why you would not keep your promises to me. I'm just plain flummoxed that you would disappear at the worst possible time in my life, and I hope to receive an immediate reply from you explaining why I haven't heard anything from you for so long, and also announcing that you have sent the $5,800 to my account. At last I hear from David again. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. I sincere apologize for all the inconveniences over the past few weeks. I would really like you to maintain your trust in me, as I honestly have been away due to reasons beyond my control. The company had to relieve me of my duties, as I have been critically ill. You would have to pardon me not to bore you with all the details, but you must know that I have great respect for our mutual coexistence, and I will not default on playing my end of the bargain. Please accept my sincere and unreserved apologies. I would like to progress our partnership cause, and I am pleased to inform you that we held a Congress meeting today, and we called our defaulting customers in your region to order, and we issued a 7-day ultimatum to them in a bid to mop up all the pending settlements. From the case described above, I have also mandated that the company pays you first from the funds that would be deposited in your account by our customers in your region, Matthew & Sons, etc. Kindly be on the lookout for the credits and report any credit at all to me. I have routed multiple customers to you in a bid to have you not wait longer to get paid. I will proceed to look for the exact number of customers that might pay to you in the coming weeks so that you have an idea of the same. I am deeply sorry for how you must have felt over the past few weeks. I am here to make it right. Thank you. I await your acknowledgement of this mail. Best regards. Do you want to guess how much time passes before he sends me a duplicate of that email? Wrong. This arrives 2 minutes later. Sounds serious, and I express my sympathies rather eloquently, if I do say so myself, which I do. Hey, David, that's terrible about having been critically ill. From your message, it sounds as though you have recovered and have returned to work. Did you have COVID? It sounds as though being so sick meant you were in the hospital for at least a part of the time. It also sounds as though you are back at work, which probably is a good sign. At least Hong Kong has universal health care for everyone there, so unlike some countries I could name, I assume you didn't end up with a huge hospital bill, which would be a relief if you were poor, or even between poor and rich. Do you have family around to take care of you and pamper you when you're sick? COVID is supposed to be pretty awful, and it must be even more terrible for the people who have to have it alone without any support from friends and family. I will keep checking with the bank each day to see if a payment has arrived. I hate to have to ask, given your near-death illness and the strain it must have put on you, but when do you think the first payment will be deposited? I think I mentioned this in my previous email prior to this one. Instead of waiting and waiting for one of our customers to pay, can't Econ Limited send me a company check for the $5,800? After all, that $5,800 should not be paid by a customer. It's a regular monthly Econ Limited expense. And that's how I'll have to claim it on my income taxes, too. A payment made to me by some third-party company is certain to trigger all kinds of interrogatories by the IRS, which is the last thing in the world I want. Not that in some years I neglected to pay some of the income taxes they probably would think I owe them. I have nothing to hide from them. But some things are none of their business, as we all know. Somehow I seem to have ended up talking about boring tax stuff. All I really intended to say was please mail or FedEx me a check from Econ Limited rather than wait for some outside company. Obviously, Weekon Limited has the funds. This amount probably is considered petty cash to your controller or comptroller or whoever it is in charge of Weekon Limited's bill paying. You said those outside companies have 7 days to mop up their pending settlements. Of course, you're talking about business days, so counting all the days in the week for me, it might be as long as 9 days or longer. And right now, I'm not even able to pay all the utility bills that are due or about to come due. If you would FedEx, you can deduct the FedEx cost from my check. The check to me today, I'll receive it tomorrow, which would be a huge weight off my shoulders. Sound like a good plan to you? If so, it would really help me a lot in terms of paying bills and also paying the various contractors who are trying to fix all the damage caused by the hurricane. I don't recall if you and I already talked about how Hurricane Ian pretty much wiped out my neighborhood. If we didn't already talk about it, suffice it to say it pretty much wiped out the entire neighborhood and everyone has to rebuild or fix up their damaged homes with no help at all from the insurance companies. You know that most recent reply from David, the one that was so important he sent it to me twice in 2 minutes? 3 days later, I receive a third copy of that email. I'm receiving so many duplicate messages that I'm losing track of how many there are. That's the third time he has sent that to me, but as you'll see, I'm actually losing count. Hey David, do you know that you sent me the same identical email twice, 3 days ago and again today? I'm guessing maybe you're snowed under with the work that piled up during your absence due to illness, but I want to make sure you know that I did reply to your first sending of that email. I give it a few days before deciding I need to nudge him again. David, did you see my email from October 28th, the one that you replied to twice? In it, I asked you to FedEx, the cost of which could be deducted from your payment to me, my first $5,800 check from Weekon Limited. That was 5 days ago, and I haven't had a reply from you. Meanwhile, according to our MOU, that first payment was due the beginning of September. It is now October, and that first payment is more than a month overdue. According to the internet, Weekon Limited grosses over $1 million per month. As I think I said previously in an earlier message, that's just petty cash to the company. But things have gotten so bad here, the hurricane damage, and I keep telling people and other businesses that I have a $5,800 check coming any day now, and I'll pay them as soon as it arrives. But after a month of my telling them that, my credibility and my reputation for honesty have been severely damaged, and the patience of my creditors has been worn anorexically thin. It's not as though I'm spending money on diamonds and pearls, but the last time I told them that, they, at least one of them, finally replied, "Yeah, we'll see doves cry before we see the money you owe us." I know you were critically ill, and I'm glad you're fully recovered, but now that you've returned to work, I just don't understand what is happening here. I need to receive last month's check by the end of this week, or I'll probably have to move into my church's men's shelter, which is supposed to be for homeless people, not for hard-working people like me with good jobs. I never dreamed that one day I would be virtually homeless. Today is Wednesday. Please FedEx me last month's check so that it arrives no later than Friday of this week. If you're concerned about the extra delivery cost, as I said, you can deduct the FedEx fee from the check that you send. If I don't receive the check by Friday, then Weekon Limited will be seriously in default and in violation of our MOU. If that happens, then I shall need to explore alternate methods of securing the debt payment. I never dreamed I would have to say that to you, and I am deeply disappointed that Weekon Limited has allowed this situation to occur and to force me into such a position. Please confirm that the FedEx envelope will reach me either on Thursday or on Friday. If possible, send me the tracking number so I can track its progress across the globe from you to me. P.S. To save yourself time later, it would be a good idea to include a second $5,800 for the second monthly payment, the one for October that is due now also. And as you can see, I copied Ollie W. Holmes, my cousin, who is a lawyer barrister in Hull, England, as you probably know. If nothing else works, that is sure to put the fear of gosh into David Patillo. And obviously the mere mention of my cousin, the lawyer barrister, has had the intended effect. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. I had a terrible relapse. I had to request to send this to you personally. I do not want to leave again without a word. I hope the medics get it right this time. I have been given an estimated medication bed rest period of 2 weeks, and while I am away, I will ensure that an alternative arrangement for your pay is made. However, keep in mind that I will also have the team continuously push for the completion of the contract and payments under your supervision to your banking details. I wish to request some time to recuperate. However, I believe I should be able to get a way forward to remunerate you in the coming days, and I will communicate that to you as soon as possible. Please do not be weary about my lack of responses. I am healing and would be back to my best and to delight you within the shortest time possible. Please be safe. Earth needs cleansing. Practice more hygiene. I will be in touch. Practice more hygiene? Where does he get off criticizing my hygiene? And how long do you suppose I have to wait for his next email to arrive? Well, I'll give you a hint. 8 days. Dear Rob, I wish to welcome you again. Trust this meets you well. Thank you for holding the fort. I really appreciate your kind collaborations and patience over the course of our partnership, and I do not take it for granted. This is to inform you that I am recuperating well, and I will be back in the office in 7 days. In the interim, I would like to confirm if your banking details is still active, as I have spoken to the payroll team to go ahead and make payments to you for your work done in the past month, and then I also requested that they assign a proper project to you. This project has gotten to its funding stage and is due for payments from the client to Equine. I want to ensure that these 2 transactions happen before I arrive office again. To this end, I would like to plead for you corporation on thy need you and I to have a regular conversation as we try to discharge the oncoming duties. Please confirm if we can proceed further with the banking details that you provided to us. I will keep you updates on how I am doing when I am back home. Thank you for your cooperation. I will be on standby for your response. 2 days later, he sends me another copy of that email. David, of course my banking details still are active, but I no longer expect to receive any money transfers from Equine, which is more than 6 weeks overdue with my first $5,800 expense payment. In my little town, I am aware of other residents snickering as I pass them on the street. "Hey, Rob," one of them yelled, "I can get you a great deal on the 59th Street Bridge." I can see clearly now that it was foolish of me to repeatedly accept and believe your excuses for Equine's not meeting its obligations. I'm beginning to get the idea that they're never going to pay me the money they owe me. Thus, my final message to David and to Equine. There goes another week without Equine paying the money it owes me. I wonder what excuse they are using this time. Do you notice the one vital element that is missing? He never reaches the point where he tries to sucker me into an advance payment scheme, where he instructs me to send him money, or, I suspect, convincing me to give him access to my bank account so he could solve the mystery of why that $47,000 never showed up. I'm guessing that ultimately he realizes that Rob is broke, thanks to my repeated bewailing of my ever-worsening financial situation. Yes, I could keep going, but that wouldn't make sense for Rob's persona. If he's now in such dire financial shape, he's not going to continue to trustingly await arrival of his first payment. Finally, Rob has had enough. Frankly, I think Equine Limited has blown the opportunity to hire someone who obviously would make a great addition to their team. But I just managed to book an ear clipping appointment. Hopefully, I'll be able to unretire from my HVM career. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel so you'll know whenever I've added a new Scambaiting email video. If you'll be kind enough to share your comments, suggestions, requests, and reactions to this video in the comments section below, I promise to make sure Rob sees it. Also, if you spotted some of the many Easter eggs that appeared in this video, please use the comments section to let us know your favorites. It's been an honor to share this Scambaiting adventure with you. In sincerity and on behalf of Rob McKean.